Yo, 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 yo. What's good, my people? What's good? What's good? Jason Gooner back again in the building. You're on Jason Gooner TV, the YouTube channel where you're going to get some football, you're going to get some stats, some facts, some analysis, some banter. Yes, every time you'll get some banter. And also, man's know about all kind of sports. So this show is a new show we're starting on the program. We don't really know when it's going to come out. We're just going to put out episodes, people. So this is episode 1 of Reasoning Time, people. That is the name of the show. I think that you're gonna like this format. Basically, what we're gonna do, each time we'll have one of these programs, we're gonna try to pick 1, 2, sometimes 3 topics, and we're just gonna have a discussion on those topics. Basically, debate. Not quite a debate, but we're going to lay some facts on the table, show you guys why we're even discussing it, why it's even worthy of having a reasoning about. And we're going to try to get to some kind of consensus by the end of it. Will we ever get there? That will remain to be seen. But that's going to be the format, people. So today, we have 2 topics that I want to talk about, and we're going to have a reasoning about them. See? So the first one, people, you see the headline, you see the thumbnail. Bunny snubbed. Is the criteria fair? So we're going to dive into the selection criteria as far as picking the sportsman and sportswoman of the year. The RJR group has taken that over. They have for quite some years now. And basically, we're just going to talk about what they use to select the sportsman and sportswoman of the year. And is it fair? Is it fair, people? That is what we want to take a look and have a reasoning about. And also, see the second thing in the title for the video, Reggae Boyz striker search. Now, of course, our thoughts, prayers, everything go to Michail Antonio and his family for a speedy recovery. Of course, the football fan in me, the analyst in me, I immediately think of, okay, we have to face reality, right? The reality of the situation is we're down a player that, as far as I am concerned, would be in any squad that we select moving forward if he's available and fit. So that means it opens up a slot for somebody that needs to, obviously we cannot replace Michail Antonio, but we need to try to find the best option in terms of somebody that can at least fill that spot, right? So we're going to have a little striker search reasoning, people. So we're going to look around the world, see where players are playing. I'm going to have you guys tell me players as well. I'm just going to look them up in real time, talk about them, and try to put them in some kind of tier. So we can say, okay, this is a player that we need to be tracking intently. This is a player, okay, maybe it's not right now, but we still can, check on him every now and again just to see how he's doing. And then we have those that maybe just we don't think would make the cut, right? We're going to try to put them in some kind of bracket. So I think that should be a nice discussion, people. We have been having an issue of scoring goals. Everybody that watches Jamaica national team knows that. Obviously, you want to get goals from everywhere on the pitch, but a way to get goals, or a good way to get goals, is to have a striker that you think can get you those goals, right? So we're going to take a look around the world and see, are there some players that maybe we haven't been looking at and we should? Some players that maybe just some of you might not even know. Obviously, we have players that are dual nationals that would want to come. We don't know the status on all of those players, but we do need to just at least make people aware of the options that are out there, because I do think that that's a spot where, we need to be really making sure that we're working off of form. Strikers are very, very, very much form players, typically. Now, most strikers go through ups and downs, and it's going to be imperative that are picking more so based on who's in their up and not who's in their down. Yeah. So 876 Jamrock, I could do a whole entire show on the squad. You are right. The midfield and defense need to fix as well. But because in light of the recent situation with Michail, again, thoughts and prayers go to him and his family. I thought it would be a good topic to talk about potential strikers, because I think even with the players that we've been using, it seems like, that third option is always rotating in and out. We haven't really nailed down that. And perhaps at times we have called the strikers when they aren't really on good form. So I want to be able to have a pool big enough to where we can really see, okay, who in the last month before we call up this team has been scoring the goals, has been playing the games, That's going to be important, I think. Bless up Float, Wagwan, bless up Nitro, big up yourself. Yeah, man, you have to agree, man, because a lot of things need to fix. I could have a whole reasoning time segment on just the team and needing to get players, but we're going to focus on the strikers. But I want to start the show by just, I have him in the title, not in the title, but I have him in the thumbnail, Lionel Messi. So if you guys didn't see my program the other day, I just want to show you guys again how I even came to putting Lionel Messi on the screen. So obviously Lionel Messi, world-renowned, arguably the best player of all time. I happen to think that myself. We had the draw for the Champions Cup on Friday, I believe it was, yes. And after the show, after the draw was completed, I had a show just talking about the draw, talking about the whole tournament in general, you know, the away goals rule, when the first round will be played, when the round of 16 will be played, when Cavalier will be entering the competition in the round of 16. And of course, we were looking out for A2 and B2 in Pot A and Pot B. And those were the two teams that whoever was drawn as A2 and B2, the winner of that two-leg tie, would face Cavalier in March, right? And lo and behold, you know, there was a lot of teams that could have came out of that Pot A group. I think it was 8 teams. So there was a what? What's that? 1/8 Zine chance. I think it's 16. No, it can't be 6. Anyway, there was a chance. Now the teams getting picked, kept getting picked. It came down to 4. It came down to 4 teams to get that A2. Fourth to last team pulled out, Inter Miami. Then they went to Bornstein to pick out which game Inter Miami was going to play. Take out the paper and open it out. And you saw A2 reveal, people. I said, I celebrate so till. So I was curious though, who they're going to play in B2, because, you know, what a letdown it would be, people. If, and I'm going to show you guys now on the screen, what a letdown it would be to know that Messi team didn't get through round 1 and we have to face the other team. But we're just going to believe that Messi and his team going to get it done. And this is how it worked out, people. Miami will be playing Sporting KC in January. If they get through those 2 legs, they will drop right here against Cavalier. Now, I happen to look at the dates as well, people. So the first leg would be hosted by the other team, because Cavalier would be the seeded team in this matchup, and they'd get the second leg at home. So the second legs, people, in this competition are going to be played in March. Yes, that is right. March Nitro. So if you're in Jamaica, not in Jamaica, and you would love to be there to witness Messi playing at the National Stadium, I'm sure, don't think they could have this match in Sabina Park due to what I'm sure would be quite a turnout. I am arguably thinking, if this does happen and this game is to take place, I honestly believe that the stadium will actually be sold out. I mean, what do you guys think that the game would be sold out? Because I think it would be sold out, you know. I really do. All right, so round of 16. All right, so yeah, so the dates as of right now, which are already set, it would be sometime between the 11th, 12th, and 13th of March, and that's a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So 11th, 12th, or 13th of March, all things considered. Wow, that's a good thought, you know. I didn't even think about that. Mother Silkeen and Davis, yes, those are 2 players on my list that we will be looking at what they've been up to. Yes, in March. Yes, it's in March. We need to get rid of some of these players and move to a more youthful team. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to find a balance, I think. I don't think you can go all the way youthful, but I agree. There are some younger players that I think need to be bedded in for sure. Yeah, I agree, Jamrock. Hopefully it does not conflict with Champs. That's a good point, you know, Nitro. When is Champs normally? Issa. Boys and girls Champs. Just have the winners, but when does it keep? Yeah, but this is the bracket, people. Miami, KC, Cavalier, and hopefully Miami people. So that is mainly why I have Messi in the thumbnail. I just wanted to go ahead and talk about that real quick again. I just think that's so exciting. And again, Sporting Kansas City, do the right thing, guys. You're not supposed to win that game, all right? So Miami, play how you're supposed to play so that we can get that dream matchup. I'm sure that all that Cavalier would be happy. Rudolph Speed, the players themselves, and I'm sure they also will be rooting for Miami when they play Sporting Kansas City. Look, nothing against anybody that is a Sporting Kansas City fan, but trust me, I don't think Johnny Russell will pull out the crowd like Lionel Messi will. And most of you that don't follow MLS will probably have to look up who the hell is Johnny Russell, right? And no disrespect to Johnny Russell, but there's levels to this, Johnny, and even you would admit that. Bless up, Jeremiah. What go on? We're there. Yeah, man, share the video, people. As a matter of fact, bear with me while you guys are busy liking the video. I'm going to just share this around a few more times before we get going into the first reasoning of the day. And that's going to be the whole RJR Sportsman, Sportswoman of the Year and the criteria. And we're going to talk about, is it actually something that is totally fair to all sporting disciplines, right? So that's one thing I want to have a discussion about. I noticed this is something that almost every year I have this discussion with some people about the whole award and everything. And I was having a discussion in a private group as well about this, and then I saw that Sportsmax had Gary Allen on, who is the chairman of the RJR Foundation, Sportsman of the Year Foundation. And I thought, it was very interesting. I guess the timing makes sense because, Bunny is not in it. And I think it's kind of a main talking point right now. I haven't really done much print research in the newspaper and stuff. I really just kind of did my own, trying to find the criteria first and foremost, and then trying to just bring it to you guys so we can have the discussion and the reasoning. So that's mainly why I did that, right? And that's why I want to talk about it. But again, while you guys are liking the video, I'm going to just share this into a few more places because I know that people probably not checking for me this time of day. I'm the night owl person on the YouTube space, but had some time during the day today, so I wanted to get this out there. Because I think that this program will have some playback ability because we're going to have the discussion and there's going to be a lot of, I think, interesting discussion. But I'll let you guys be the judge by smashing that like button. And the more likes we get, people will look at it and say, oh, this got this amount of views and so much people like it. Oh, let me watch it as well. So yeah, that it really helps people. It also helps YouTube to know, let me put this video out there so that people can see it, right? So it definitely does help if you guys just smash the like button for me. It is very, very crucial for the video to get some traction. All right, people. Yeah, man. And I don't know, you can also help the channel in other ways. We're not gonna tell you how. You already know. There's a way on the screen to like the show even more. But yeah, we're not too we're not too focused on that. You guys just smash that like button, people. That is just the most important thing that you can do for me when you guys view this video. All right, so as I said, people, we're going to get right into the discussion. So let me pull up the document so that you guys can see it. I'm going to put it on the screen so you guys can go through it with me. But Nitro, that is a good question. When is the actual champs? I will find that out. All right. So, and anybody in the comment section that might happen to know, let me know. When is ISA champs? March 11th, 12th, and 13th. I don't think it's that early in March, from what I remember. All right, so let me find this document now. Well, all right, here we go. All right, so we're good now. All right, so I have it on the screen. So this is the actual criteria that is used, right? And I'm gonna show you guys as well, so it will be out there. I think anytime you're having a discussion like this, it's important that you have the facts, right? So we're going to put it on the screen what is used by the selection committee to make their nominations to the board, and then the Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year nominees are chosen. Also, what I want to do is I'm going to have ready the actual nominees for this year, right? So you guys can see who those are, because I think that's helpful as well. Bear with me, people. While I'm getting everything ready, just smash that like button, people. Share it as well. If you're in any groups, you think they'll enjoy this kind of conversation, just holding a reasoning about sports, you guys let me know. All right, so this is the list. All right, so I have that ready. So first and foremost, people, so Jamrock have some thoughts on the club championship before we start the reasoning. This compilation is not running fairly. Too many MLS get too many spots. Canada just start them league and get more spots than Jamaica Premier League. Concacaf is not doing the right thing at the club level. Well, Jamrock, they're trying to make the competition the best it can be. So if you look at the level of competition in the MLS, let's say, and the Liga MX, and I noticed you didn't put Liga MX in it having too many. So I'm assuming that you think that Liga MX should have more than MLS. But if you're being fair though, Jamrock, in the CONCACAF competitions like the Leagues Cup, where Liga MX faced MLS, MLS dominated that competition. I think in the semifinals there were 3 MLS teams and only 1 Mexican team. So, and I think that was actually both seasons it was like that they've had it. So I think the MLS deserves to have more. Now the Canada argument I understand, but I do think there's the Canadian Championship, right, which there's going to have a winner from, and the winner from that comes from MLS Vancouver, and then you have the what you call it now, the Canadian Premier League, and they get the 2 finalists, or the person that win the cup and the team that had the highest points at the end of the season. They both advance to it. So them having 2 is okay, especially when you consider those teams that you said just started up, right? When they play the Jamaica Premier League teams, they slap them up. So that's the only barometer we have, and the Jamaican team's not beating the Canadian Premier League teams. So there you go. The CONCACAF Club Championship needs to exchange it. It's unfair for Canada and MLS and Mexico have too many teams in the Club Championship. It's unfair to Panama, Costa Rica, Jamaica, Honduras, El Salvador. Now I think you have more of an argument, Jamrock, with like the Costa Rican teams, even though I think they got from Central America, they got the top 3 in the Central American Cup, plus I think like 3 or 4 others, because you got 3 automatic, then you got a playing person. Saprissa got in through that, and then you had like the champions in each one. So you had the so yeah, I don't know. The Central America is represented with about 6 clubs, I want to say, and MLS have like 8. I think Liga MX have like another 5 or 6, and then the Canadian Premier League have 2, and Jamaica have 1. But Honduras have 1. I don't think there's any Panamanian in this one. Costa Rica have like 3 or 4. So, Costa Rica is the one taking the lead in the Central American place. So they are rewarding them for that. Anyway, that might be another good reasoning time topic, Jamrock. We'll have that on another day. So today, though, we're going to discuss, as I said, the RJR Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year criterias, right? So firstly, I want to show you guys the nominees for the 2024 calendar year, right? And this is taken from Loop Jamaica, right? So just wanted to find somewhere where I could show you guys the list of names, right? So this is it right here, and I'll just read from the top. Paris Olympic discus gold medalist Roger Stoner and triple jump silver medalist Shanika Ricketts lead the nominations for the 2024 RJR Sports Foundation Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year Awards. The nominees were announced during a televised ceremony at TVJ Studios on Wednesday, highlighting athletes who have achieved international success. Stoner, who made history by claiming Jamaica's first ever Olympic gold in the men's discus at the Paris 2024 Olympics, leads a field of 8 male nominees. The list features several track and field stars, including Akeem Blake, bronze in the 60 meter at the World Indoors, Rashid Broadbell, bronze in the 110 meter hurdles at the Paris Olympics, Rajindra Campbell, shot put bronze at the Paris Olympics, Rasheen McDonald, 400 meter bronze at the World Indoor Championships, Kerry McLeod, long jump bronze at the World Indoors, Wayne Pinnock Olympic silver in the long jump at Paris, and then Kishane Thompson 100 meter silver at the Paris Olympics, right? So basically the list is 8 track and field participants, or track and field athletes, I should say. And then for the women's side now, you have Ricketts, the first Jamaican woman to medal in the Olympic triple jump, joined by Rochelle Clayton, national 400 meter hurdles champion and Paris Olympic finalist, Akira Nugent, record-breaking hurdler with a national and world-leading time of 12.24 seconds in the 100 meter hurdle. Nikisha Price, the first Jamaican woman to break the 49-second barrier in the 400 meters, and Laurie Sharp, cyclist and gold medalist in the women's road race at the Elite Caribbean Cycling Championships in Guyana, breaking the dominance of track and field among the nominees. So that is the 5 women. So clearly there's not really a set number that you have to have. There's 8 men and 5 women. So that's something to note moving forward in the discussion. The ceremony also revealed 6 nominees for the People's Choice Performance of the Year, celebrating standout moments that captured the public's imagination. These include Broadbell's bronze in the 110 hurdles at the Paris Olympics, Nugent's world-leading 12.24 in the Diamond League, Khadija Shaw's goal against Liverpool in the Women's Super League, Stoner's historic discus gold at the Olympics, and Thompson's 100 meter silver, and Shavani Willis's stunning goal for Arnett Gardens against Portmore in the JPL. Wow. All right. So those were the 6 for the People's Choice Performance of the Year, right? So Khadija Shaw not nominated for the award, but they do have her in this People's Choice Performance of the Year, right? So that's another thing to note, people. So she is involved somewhere in the program. So the winners will be announced at the RJR Gleaner National Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year Awards Gala on the 17th of January 2025 at the Pegasus in Kingston. All right, so that was just a little background of who all were nominated. So we have basically 13 nominees between men and women, 12 of them track and field, and 1 cyclist, Laurie Sharp, whose race that she won was at the Caribbean level, Caribbean Cycling Championships in Guyana. So big up to Miss Sharp for that achievement, right? Now, I wanted to just put that out there for perspective, right? So Nitro says it's a business move. RJR TVJ only show track and field, so it makes sense, business sense for them. It is a disgrace how Bunny Shaw is being treated. Conrad said, I know that hurt Bunny. Yeah, big up yourself, Conrad. Big up, Raja. Big up, John Raja. Big up. Every time, my brother. Yeah, man, blessings. Long time. Yeah, so that is it about the nominees right there. So we have 12 track and field, 1 cyclist. No footballers, no cricketers, no boxers, no nothing, right? Now, for the sake of this reasoning, I'm not really here to try to rewrite the criteria. I am only here to present the criteria to each and everybody who will view this, whether now or later, and have a discussion as to whether in this time we are in 2024, the way that they're going about it is really fair or really right. Is it maybe a better term, right? So what I want to do now, people, is put on the screen the actual criteria. Let me make sure that this is showing the way I want it to. All right, yes, this is fine. So let me actually put myself down here. So, all right, so I'm just gonna read through this, and you guys follow along, and then we're gonna have a reasoning about all of this. All right. So, I remember, people, smash that like button, share the content, subscribe to the channel if it's the first time you're here. All right, so let's read this together. So, recognizing excellence in sports. The RJR Sports Foundation honors annually outstanding achievement in sport by Jamaican athletes by nominating a maximum of 10 athletes, both males and females, to be considered. So there's your answer there. There's a maximum of 10 that can be nominated. Now, first thing, I just want, before I continue reading, I think that the wording could be done a bit better here. The fact that it says athletes, and I know when you look up the word athlete, it's not going to really necessarily say track and field. But if I am doing a program and I'm going to talk about Leon Bailey, you will not hear me refer to Leon Bailey as an athlete. You'll hear me refer to him as a footballer. So I think that in itself almost kind of starts to tell you a little bit about the bias, whether purposeful or not, that is in the rhetoric of the actual document that they use, right? So I would first and foremost try not to use a word like athletes and use something a little more inclusive there, because to me, that's already leaning towards track and field. Let me continue though. By applying the selection criteria enunciated below, the foundation then selects those whose exploits have been deemed the most worthy and announces its choice for the Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year and their respective runners-up. Okay? In addition, each year, the foundation may award certificates of merit to persons or organizations who have contributed significantly to the advancement, promotion, and support, financial or otherwise, of a sport or sports outside of the area of physical participation as a competitor. The foundation may also recognize excellence by a Jamaican athlete in a sporting discipline for Sportsman or Sportswoman of the Year by offering category awards in those disciplines. At its discretion, the foundation may also choose to recognize outstanding achievement by a national team through the provision of team awards at either or both the senior and junior levels. In the nomination and selection of awardees in all of the above categories, the principal characteristic of the performances and achievements being recognized shall be excellence. The foundation is committed to the recognition of excellence, and this shall be the overriding guide governing the deliberations of its selection committee. All right, fair. So that is just kind of the background of their philosophy as to how they go about choosing. Now, as we go through the document, we're going to get a little bit more in detail as far as what they look at, right? And I think that's where the true reasoning will start. But I did want to read the entire document just because I think it's important for context. Again, I mentioned one thing, the wording. I think in itself, look, you can, I agree, athlete can mean anything but a track and field athlete. But I'm telling you, it does lend you to think of track and field and its participants, okay? And if you don't think that's the truth, then you're just not being truthful with yourself. All right, big up Bianconeri, boss. So I go on. Big win. Me say you have the black and white. Juve smash up Man City yesterday. So yes, Pep. I don't know how much more cut him off on him head, but probably a few more after yesterday. Sorry. Yeah. And put some respect on the American them. You see the American them getting your second goal. You see it? All right. Bless up Michael Garden. What go on? Bunny don't care. Everyone out of Jamaica knows how great she is. Yeah, look, Conrad, I don't doubt for a second that she don't really care, you know. But to be honest, if she says she don't care, she not being fully truthful with herself. Because if it's one thing I know, Conrad, when you go out in the world and do great things, you can get recognized by everybody out there in the world. But you see your people, Conrad, you see your people, when you get recognized by your people, it means more. I'm telling you, it means more. So she can lie to herself if she having those thoughts like, I don't really care. Bunny, tell the truth. Be honest with yourself. You would love to be recognized by your own people. And I'm sure that's a fact. I'm sure that's a fact. You can't go around that. Full. All right, so let's continue. Yeah, Michael Gordon says she cares. A Ballon d'Or runner-up and not even honorable mention in your country, that is a slight. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think she does care. And I think Conrad knows that too. He's just being well, maybe not. He will tell me. I don't know if Conrad believes that she don't care, but I'm telling you she cares. I think so. And I could be wrong, but I think she does. All right, so this is the part now that is serious now. Eligibility, well, one of the parts. Eligibility for nomination. So here it is, right? The following general criteria will be applied in determining the eligibility of the persons being nominated in the categories of Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year. And these are the four bullet points now that make you eligible. 1, the nominee must be a Jamaican national or have represented Jamaica in an internationally recognized sporting competition, right? Something about that is a bit weird as well, because my question to the committee would be, when you say have represented Jamaica in an internationally recognized sporting competition, do you mean in that year that you're looking at, or at any point in the past? So that's something I would want to have a little more clarity based on how it's written, right? Second point, the nominee may be either a professional or an amateur. Okay, fair. So, okay, that's basically if they want a junior, obviously they wouldn't be professional. Yeah, so that makes sense. All right, cool. And then the third point is more about, inclusion. So it says none of the following shall prejudice the nominee: race, color, creed, class, political persuasion. So if you're a Labourite, if you're a comrade, basically doesn't matter, right? Which is great. That's good that they put that in there. And then the last point says the nominee must not have engaged in any behavior or conduct which, in the opinion of the foundation, has brought their sport into disrepute. Now, immediately when I read that part of it, bless up Africans, wagwan, we're outside. I know you heard Messi will be, well, hopefully, if you can get past Kansas City, will be played Cavalier at the Wembley of Jamaica, which is the national stadium. The pitch will be in immaculate condition for Messi. I hope, but I doubt it. Anyway, big up yourself, Africans. So yeah, we're having a reasoning over here, and we're talking about whether this document that is used to pick the Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year from the RJR Foundation is outdated or not, right? So this last one, the nominee must not have engaged in any behavior or conduct which, in the opinion of the foundation, has brought their sport into disrepute. So immediately when I read that, I said, is this the ammunition that the foundation would use if I were to challenge them? Because it says in the opinion of the foundation. And I remember when everything happened with the Reggae Girls and the Federation, there were some people that were putting the blame at the feet of the Reggae Girls in that whole situation. Others thought that the justice should be split between both, and others thought that the Federation was fully to blame. But who knows? Maybe the people that comprise the foundation, the board members, the selection committee, maybe they were leaning towards the Federation being correct in this whole situation, and that the stance taken having to suspend the selection of certain players from the Reggae Girls was the right move at the time. So I always saw that and said, that is the ammunition that they would have in a conversation if I were to challenge them. But at the same time, I think if they believed that Khadija Bunny Shaw indeed engaged in behavior or conduct which brought her sport into disrepute, then I would think she would not be included in any kind of performance of the year nomination. What say you guys? You can't say she's outlawed from the Sportsman or Sportswoman of the Year and then include her in the program in another recognition type award. Doesn't make sense to me. The fact that you would include her in that means clearly she was a part of the discussion, because she wouldn't have made it into that. So on the basis of that, that's where I think I have some ammunition to challenge them. Because you thought it was imperative to include her for a goal she scored in the league. Mark you, they did not recognize that she was the player of the year in that same league as the moment or the thing of the year. They chose to choose a goal against Liverpool, not even a top rival in the Women's Super League. And again, I think that lends itself to a part of my issue, which is how out of touch it seems like the members of this committee are. Because I don't even think that they understand the level of the league that she plays in. You know, I was able to watch, and I won't use any other program on here, Sportsmax, but big up to Sportsmax for having the chairman of the foundation on the program, Mr. Gary Allen. And Gary Allen said one of the reasons why it's tough to include league performance around the world in these criteria is because it starts to remove objectivity and include subjectivity. So he's trying to make sure that they're not using words like I like and I believe, and they can point to some numbers or some quantitative metric. My thing is this: if you are a little more in tune with how things are today, you would realize that those leagues that you think will be so subjective actually are ranked objectively. So you can research and see where the Women's Super League ranks amongst its counterparts around the world and know the weight of getting such an accolade and the gravity of it. Furthermore, wouldn't another moment or a reason to have her in the performance of the year be to be nominated for the most prestigious footballing award in the world? Right? Or is it that she didn't win the Ballon d'Or, so she could not be nominated? Someone please help me. Because if you're selecting from one sport all around the world and you have a player that's good enough, now mark you, they have about 30 nominees. I get that. But to be in the top 30 in the world, and then if you want to say objectivity matters, you can look objectively and say she finished 15th in the entire world of footballers. So that means if you're making a squad of players, Khadija Bunny Shaw makes the world squad based on the objective metric that is the Ballon d'Or. Anyway, I digress a little bit. But that fourth bullet point, as far as eligibility, is what I think they could have used in some kind of argument against her. That's debatable in itself, but I will give them that. African says, from my outside perspective, might be a reason for the snub, but also which competitions have the girls played in this year? Could they be saying club football does not count? That is it, Africans. They are, and you'll see as I scroll down and see the selection criteria, which I'm about to show you, you will kind of more understand. And that question mark, you'll have a little more clarity towards, because they don't really count club football, it seems, based on their selection criteria. If the JFF nominated her, then why would the selection body exclude her on disciplinary reasons? Well, the JFF don't nominate people for this. That's the thing. So the only nominations are done by the selection committee of this foundation. So yeah, the JFF would have nothing to do with that. The chairman is a dodo. Look, I have no doubt that he has some form of intelligence, right? You can't be successful and hold the positions that he's held if you don't have some intelligence. But I do think that he's very out of touch when it comes to what he's tasked with doing, which is overseeing a Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year award. I don't know. I mean, I would want the person who is the chairman to have some decent amount of background in sports itself. And I don't know if I know he was the head of the RJR company at one point, or chairman or something like that. But does that deem him appropriate to be with the Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year as the chairman of that board? I don't know. And based on some of his answers in the Sportsmax interview, I would definitely challenge that greatly. I'm almost certain if they can't clearly blacklist her, I choose to believe it comes down to her presumed persuasion, colors, alphabet. Okay. Well, funnily enough, it does not say anything about sexual orientation on here. It just says race, color, creed, class, and political persuasion. Now, by no means am I suggesting that I know how she identifies in terms of her sexual preference or all of that. So I don't know anything about that, people. But it does omit anything about that in this eligibility statement, and that's the inclusion portion of it. It mentions race, color, creed, class, does not mention and political persuasion, does not mention anything about that, the alphabets. So did Deon Burton got Sportsman of the Year in Jamaica? That doesn't qualify. Yes, Michael Gordon, he did in 1997 in the awards. In 98, he got it for his exploits during the World Cup qualifiers in 97, letting us get to the World Cup, right? So, yeah, I guess at the time in 97, as far as I know, let me see, World Championships, because I basically just look at what was going on in track and field around that time to kind of see, what is going on. So in the 97 World Championships, I'm looking at it now. For the men, Jamaica did not have anything going on. Their 4x4 won the silver medal. So I guess they didn't want to pluck out one athlete out of that. None of them medaled in the 400 flat. We had nobody medal in the 100 or 200 either for men. At that point, I don't think we were really doing the most in the field events just yet. So I don't see any Jamaicans there. And yeah, on the women's side, there was a lot more going on. Well, a few things. Yeah, so it was just not a huge year on the track and field side at the world level. And so I think, Deon Burton came along at a good time. Yeah. Which year was that, Michael Gordon? In? Okay, yeah. So it was 97. Yeah, Deon scored the goals to get us to the World Cup. Absolutely. It is biased to track and field. Yeah, I just searched it, and we didn't win any male medals besides a silver in the 4x400 for men. That was it. When Leon Bailey say he don't need Jamaica, I think Bunny don't need Jamaica. Yeah, look, it's not a matter of needing, but it's still, these people are human at the end of the day. And if she's seeing everywhere around the world recognize her, the least she would probably think is that her own would recognize her as well, So I think in that case, she may not need Jamaica, yes, but she's human, bro. She's human. All right, so this is the collection of performance data. So this is telling you what the time frame is that they collect the data. So it's collected throughout the review period, which is the 1st of the year to the 31st, right? This data shall be collected for or at the discretion of the foundation in the following manner. So there's a 4-member selection committee comprised of 3 directors of the foundation, right? So actual board members, right? So including a chairman appointed by the chairman of the board of the foundation and 2 other directors selected by the foundation. So at the beginning of the review period, and up to 3 persons, but no less than 1, appointed to the selection committee by the foundation board of directors from outside of their directorship, selected at the beginning of the review period. So basically, it is 4 members, right? And I know this because I happen to know one of the members very well, okay? And he happens to be the one that is brought in from outside of the foundation's directorship. He's not on the board of directors currently. So, basically, it's him and 3 others that are already on the board of directors. Now, for clarity, he himself, at one point, was the chairman of the board of the same committee, but that was when it was the Carreras group was heading it up, right? So I think it was from 2003 to 2008, right? But he's still involved in the selection portion of this. Now, this is how they actually present the stuff. It's the responsibility of the committee to prepare or cause to be prepared reports on the activities of Jamaican athletes competing locally and internationally, and to submit these reports to the directors of the foundation on at least a bi-monthly basis throughout the review period. Achievements deemed worthy of inclusion in these periodic reports may come from any generally recognized sporting discipline. In respect of achievement in the field of sport, outside of physical participation as a competitor, it shall also be within the purview of this committee to make reports on achievements by Jamaicans which fall into this category. All right. So basically, if anybody has done anything in the world of sport that isn't actually an athlete, maybe they are in administration and they have done something to be noted, that will be brought up as well. But the main thing is, bi-monthly, they bring reports on potential sportsman and sportswoman, what they've been up to, what they're doing. So they try to keep up as the year goes along. But again, I think that is all well and good. The most important thing is the selection criteria that is used, and we're gonna get to that eventually, right? So the next thing that I want, the next topic in this document, bless up DJ Gigs, Wagwan. The next topic in this document is, in submitting its penultimate bi-monthly report, right, the selection committee shall submit also their recommendation regarding nominees in the categories of Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year, as well as recommendations regarding recipients of certificates of merit, category awards, and team awards. The foundation reserves the right to add or subtract from any list of nominees agreed on following the submission of this report as a result of circumstances which may arise in the final 2 months of the review period, which would materially affect the nomination process. Okay, so they reserve the right, even after this report, if anything happens, that would take away or put that person in a negative light, or some other details come up from the past, they have the right to remove them, right? Fine. In making their recommendations, the selection committee, through its chairman, must be prepared to offer reasons and advance arguments to support these recommendations, right? So here is the order of recognition. So this is probably the most important part of the document as far as I'm concerned, right? So this is what they kind of use to objectively rank the achievements of the people around the world that's doing their thing, right? So this part is the reason why I think it's just not really fair. So here it is. With the clearly understood proviso that any exceptionally brilliant performance which satisfies all of the conditions for competition stipulated by the governing world body of the sport concerned will be given due appraisal and consideration. The following levels of competition shall take precedence, one over the other, in descending order. So level 1, distinguished achievement or honor earned at the level of the Olympic Games or at the level of any recognized world championships, which can be a comparison to the Olympic Games, right? So right there, they're setting the Olympics as the barometer, right? And also they made sure to mention any recognized world championships, right? So again, Olympics, world championships. I know the Olympics have a lot of sports, but in the Jamaican context, the Olympic Games is a track and field event for most Jamaicans, right? The World Championships happens for every sport, but in certain sports like basketball, let's say, would the NBA take precedence over the FIBA World Championships? I don't know, right? So those are the things where I think the wording needs to better reflect the sporting atmosphere in 2024, right? Which can be a comparison to the Olympic Games or to competitors who have achieved a record world standard in their sport or event during the review period. Again, that world standard is also something that's rooted in track and field. Again, because Akira Nugent, for example, had her slip up in the Olympics, didn't quite make it as far as she would have liked. Made the final, but ended up hitting a hurdle in the final. Now, do I believe she should be nominated? Absolutely, because she had an incredible year, best time in the world for the year. But even here, achieved a world record standard. So I believe Bunny Shaw, I know she won the Golden Boot. I don't think it was the most goals ever, but I know she achieved the world record of most goals at her club. Not world record, but the record of most goals at her club. Is that something that would be considered a world standard for the sport? Again, a lot of the wording, it's like they were like, okay, how can we word this to make sense to tier the track and field achievements and not necessarily thinking of other sporting achievements? Level 2, distinguished achievement or honor earned at the Commonwealth or Pan American level in their sport during the review period. Again, these are competitions that clearly have a lot of sports in them. but in the Jamaican context, heavily weighted towards track and field. Level 3, distinguished achievement or honor earned at the Central American and Caribbean level in their sport during the review period. So that's basically how we saw Miss Laurie get in there from the cycling. She won a Caribbean level sporting event in Guyana, the cycling championship. So she got in on a nomination. But compared to some of her counterparts in the nominations, she's at a level 3, which would make it very difficult for her at that level to earn Sportswoman of the Year, which is fine. Again, this is more about inclusion for the nominees. And I think once you include the nominees based on how you write these things, perhaps it's not so difficult to achieve. There must be some common ground found with the level 1 of the Olympics and the World Championships with respective disciplines in football, basketball, boxing, so to speak. If a fighter attains a world title in boxing, that should be, I think, regarded on the same level as an Olympic or a World Championship level. If a player wins the Champions League with their club and is a big part of that, makes the team of the season in the Champions League, then I would say that should be an accomplishment on the level of an Olympics and a World Championships. But again, the wording in this doesn't really include that. And I think that's where they're missing the trick, right? Level 4, distinguished achievement or honor earned at the local level in their sport during the review period. So that would be JPL achievement, National Netball League, whatever, all of those leagues, that's at the national level. I guess schoolboy football would be encompassed in that as well. Then there's a portion for disabilities. I think at one time, the sportsman could have come from a Paralympian. They did change that and amend that, which I think was smart. Physically and mentally challenged athletes who participate in restricted competition because of their disability shall not be eligible for the conventional Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year awards, but the foundation may, in its sole discretion, offer special awards in these categories. Notwithstanding the above, a disabled athlete who distinguishes themselves or earns honor in open competition shall be eligible for a nomination for Sportsman or Sportswoman of the Year. All right. So age group competitors, age group athletes who distinguish themselves in competition, which is restricted as to age, shall not be eligible for the conventional Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year awards, but the foundation may, in its discretion, offer special awards in those categories. All right. So the next one is certificates of merit. This should be limited to 5, but the foundation reserves the right to increase this number in any year of exceptional activity and or merit. Only those persons who have rendered service or achieved over and beyond what would normally be expected by the holder of their office shall be considered. Members of the foundation who satisfy the criteria for consideration for certificates of merit should not be disqualified solely on the basis of their membership in the foundation. So basically, they must say, if you're in the foundation, you still can get a certificate if you do good things. So I need to research and see how many certificates of merit were handed out to board members during their time. Category awards. In keeping with its mandate of recognizing excellence in sports, the foundation shall encourage all governing bodies for sport in Jamaica to submit. Okay, so Duke, you are right. You are right. You are very right. The JFF could very well have submitted that goal against Liverpool. So that is my bad. I totally forgot about this part. The foundation may then, at its sole discretion, determine the suitability of those nominated by their governing body for category awards. Okay. Foundation introduced category awards for male and female participants in mind games. In this category, consideration shall be given to achievements in bridge and chess. Nominees achieve qualification for consideration in recognized events of the International Mind Sports Association. Okay. Team awards may be offered by the foundation to representative national teams who have achieved excellence in international, regional, or local competition during the review period. All right. Iconic award. The foundation shall each year identify who and recognize a Jamaican athlete, administrator, coach, or sporting aficionado who has brought fame or positive recognition on an international stage to Jamaica or Jamaican sports at the highest level of endeavor. The award should not be made posthumously and must be received by the recipient, barring incapacitation. The board of the foundation shall consider candidates and make an announcement for the first time on the evening of the awards event. Okay. Chairman's award is presented annually at the sole discretion of the chairman to a person or persons who have achieved excellence by their participation in a service or in participation in or service to sport, whether during the review period or over a sustained period of time. Then you have lifetime achievement. No more than twice every decade, the foundation shall consider a body of work over the career of an athlete and make a lifetime achievement award to the person. And then they do have a secondary school sportsman and sportswoman of the year awards. So that is nice. They will announce that as well. So they do have something special for the schoolboy and schoolgirls, which is good. All right, so that's basically the full document there. And then they have, of course, the People's Choice, which is the one that we saw the nominees for, made in the category based solely on the feedback on various media platforms of members of the public to between 5 and 7. Okay, so I was right. JFF did not nominate her for this. So I knew I was right, you know. I was too quick to give up my correctness on this. But this actual award is not done. It's based solely on the feedback on various platforms in the media and members of the public of what should get into this. So I don't know how this seems very arbitrary. This is not a matter on which the selection committee adjudicates. However, in recognition of growing interactivity in the information age, this mechanism is used to encourage viewer, reader, and listener participation. So I don't know. I guess they just pick and then they let the viewership and various things vote. So that is basically the full document. So we'll get this off screen now. People who can clip it up and want to see it, that is great. All right, so that is it, people. But what I want to do now is talk about it a little bit more. So for me, one of the main things I thought, and Lance tried to bring this to Gary Allen and Sportsmax. Big up yourself, all the Sportsmax folks. He said, you know, surely there must be a way to include the leagues that these players playing around the world into the criteria. And what I thought was very strange was the way he answered the question. He said that the minute they do that, it lends itself to including subjectivity into the matter, which I think for him to say just kind of proved to me how out of touch he might be with what the topic matter is, subject matter is, because you know you can look up on various places. Opta, you know, Opta has a league ranking around the world, right? And the same can be said for the women's as well. They have the strongest leagues in the world based on men and women. So that's something that you can easily look up and objectively say, okay, Bunny Shaw is in the 3rd highest ranked women's league in the world, or 2nd, whatever it is. I think the NWSL in America is the highest, I believe, at last check. And I'm just trying to find, because I looked it up already, you know. Okay, here it is. So the NWSL, yeah. So as far as leagues in the world, the WSL in England is 2nd to only the NWSL, people. So it's the 2nd highest rated league in world football on the women's side. And she was the winner of the Player of the Year by the Players Football Association in England, right? She was nominated for the Ballon d'Or, finishing 15th in the world in rankings. The Guardian recently came out with their own list of the top players in the world, and Bunny Shaw was number 4 on their list. So again, people, I'm going to look up the people that were nominated for the 2024 Sportswoman of the Year, and you guys tell me realistically, people, how for the year of 2024 that we just witnessed, how is Bunny Shaw not a nominee for the award? Again, the fact that it is so heavily rooted in only representing the country when they're actually wearing the colors of Jamaica, I think is a misstep on the part of the foundation. because at all times these sports people that represent for their clubs, teams, and however they participate in sports, not wearing a Jamaica jersey, they are doing so as Jamaicans. They don't put away their Jamaicanness to go and play for Man City or Aston Villa or Brentford or West Ham, or when they're driving in a race like Fraser in Europe in his rally series that he drives in. You know, all of those people do so representing Jamaica at all times. If the commentator says anything about them, typically they'll say the Jamaican national, right? Or Jamaican representative. So I think it's not really good on the side of the federation in terms of not figuring out a way to acknowledge that sport in Jamaica and the people that participate in sport from Jamaica, it's a much more global thing for them now. And I just believe that you have to include their exploits with their various club teams if you want it to be actually a fair selection process. Because again, it is a bit of a farce, people, and we have to be honest. It's a bit of a farce to have 5 female nominees, right? And none of them be Khadija Shaw for what she did in the year 2024. Now, even if you want to argue that because she did not play for Jamaica this year, right? Besides up to very recently, she should not be nominated for anything. Again, I put to you, I don't want to see her in the program then. Do not put her on no People's Choice Performance of the Year for nothing. All or nothing. If she's not nominated and recognized in this 5, again, people, nothing against the 5. They all deserve to be there by merit. Ricketts, Rochelle Clayton, Akira Nugent, Nikisha Price, Laurie Sharp for the cycling. I get it. But you can have up to 10. If you don't want to give her because she never played a game for Jamaica or because of the whole stuff with what was going on with the team, fine. But let's not forget that she was playing and representing Jamaica for Manchester City and arguably doing just about as well as everybody else that's on this list right here. And just because you guys in your criteria for selection don't include things that necessary to be included in order to have the discussion in a more fair and balanced way, now you're penalizing the person for that. So I will hold it to this, Mr. Allen. You said that you will be sitting down with the committee and the directors to discuss amending the selection criteria. But I am also very concerned in the way that you answered some of the questions. And I feel like you will have this discussion and you will sit in the room, but will anything change? That is the question. So I look forward to being able to see the revised or new selection criteria, and we will have another reasoning about it then. But I can tell you that based on what you said about the Ballon d'Or changing their criteria too much recently and pandering to too many people, I can tell that you're of the stance that the way it's going is fine. And just because I see some people in the comment section talking about who won and all these things, I'm going to pull up the winners of this. I'm going to work my way from most recent to all the way back, right? So I know, let me see. So the website, not even, boy, it's tough, you know. So all I'm seeing is up to 2019 on Wikipedia, but I know that they held it last year too, so I'm not really sure where that is. I know Sherika won for the women. So I'm not remembering who won for the men 2023. So Jason, with all those high points for giving Dion that award, can't they see her dominance in international football? A Premier League top 5 team, most goals by City ever in a season. Yeah, look, again, it's because of the way it's worded. They because of their selection criteria, they have that crutch to say, well, we don't really have anything about leagues in the world in this, so how can we include her? But it's just like, there are other things that they use discretion on. This is one that I think discretion would have had to be used, Was Andre Blake nominated? No. It's 8 men, and they're all track and field discipline. Let me make sure. I think so. Yeah, they're all track and field. All 8 athletes. All 8 male nominees. I wonder if Leon Bailey win Player of the Year in the Premier League. He wins Jamaica Sportsman of the Year. Strange, huh? I honestly believe that Leon would be nominated if he had the type of season that Bunny Shaw had in terms of recognition, won the PFA Footballer of the Year, and his team was so close to winning a title, and maybe he wouldn't have to have the leading goals or anything. But yeah, if he won that PFA Player of the Year, I am almost certain that he makes it. He makes the nomination and potentially battle Stoner for the Sportsman of the Year. To be honest. In part of your title, Bunny Snubbed, what happened? Okay, DJ Gig. So basically, the RJR Sportsman of the Year and Sportswoman of the Year, they had their nominations, and Khadija Bunny Shaw was not in the list of 5 women nominated for Sportswoman of the Year, which I thought was kind of crazy. So I'm just doing a show on the criteria for it and how they would have come about to make a decision like that. I think the way the selection criteria is written pretty much made it impossible for Bunny to be nominated for the award. Mike McCallum won before. Yes, he did. Jamaica flag is shown when they line up for clubs. Absolutely. Jamaican International. That is it. That is it. All right. So let me show you guys this list just for context, because I saw Michael Gordon put in a few of the winners in the past. So let me just show you guys here. This is Wikipedia. So, I think it's right. I believe. So 2019, you had Tajay Gale and Shelley and Fraser Price. We have Aliyah Atkinson doing her thing in swimming in 17 and 18. Omar McLeod and Dakers Athletics. Usain Bolt won his for the 7th time in 2016. Elaine Thompson there. Shelley and again in 15. Bolt again. So Nicholas was a world champion this year, I believe. Yes, he won the featherweight title, WBA. So as I said, boxing is something that, even though the criteria doesn't say it, I guess it was included that year, right? Aliyah Atkinson again in 2014. Then we have Shelley Usain, Campbell Brown, Usain, Chris Gale. That's the first cricketer we see working our way back in 2010. Athletics. So we had a dominance of athletics here for a little while. Then we have Courtney Walsh in 2000 winning his 3rd. He won 3 in a row from 98 to 2000. So he was doing his thing, county cricket and with the West Indies then. Dean Burton there in 97. So this is a long stretch here of time where athletics didn't win on the male side. So 4 years in a row. And then from 2001 to now, there have only been 2 years or 2 times that they have given it out where cricket and boxing won it and not athletics. On the women's side, it's hopeless. We have been dominating. So, Aliyah Atkinson came 3 times, 2014, 17, and 18. But other than that, it's been an athletics run all the way back to about the 90s, I would say, between Merlene, Michelle Freeman, Sandy Richards, Beverly McDonald. See, Merlene won it 13 times, so that should tell you how much she had a stranglehold on it, right? And there's Burton in 97, as I said. Jimmy Adams from cricket. Patrick Patterson Pato from cricket. Jeffrey Dejean, cricket. And then Mike McCallum had a nice stretch where he won what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let me start from the start. So in 78, him win. Then we had cycling a couple times. So it looks like back in the early times of these awards, it was a lot more open. I guess the dominance in track and field wasn't quite underway as yet. Yes, we did have a few getting for accomplishments, but yeah, you know, this person made it to the high jump final in the 72 Olympics and was highlighted in that year. RJ Reed. So we had some high jumpers at this time, clearly. Reed and Bruce doing them thing. Marilyn. Broke the world record in 400 meters. Wow. I've never heard of this lady. Learned something new today. Born in Jamaica, she emigrated at 8 years old to Great Britain. Okay, so she actually represented Great Britain, looks like, in the European Championships. And we just say, oh, she born here, you know. Would they do something like that in 2024? I doubt it. And Raheem Sterling could have won. Well, not now, I'm not playing, but when he was playing, he could have won. Damn. So that might have been one of the things that they changed in 2014. You know, had to have represented Jamaica at some point. And if she moved from 8 years old, I don't think she ever did. Wow. So yeah, there have been different disciplines, but clearly heavily weighted towards, you know. Andre Blake was instrumental in us reaching the semis of Nations League where we won bronze. Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, that would be equivalent to but it's a little more than Caribbean, because it includes North and Central America as well. So maybe it would be more equivalent to like a Pan Am Games. Yeah. So not quite the world and Olympic level, but you know, that second level. So the nominees were picked by a selection committee of 4. 3 members of the foundation's board. A chairman was selected of those 4. And then there's one outsider from the actual board that is on the selection committee as well. And those 4 submit reports bi-monthly. And in their second to last report that they submit, they put nominees with their report. So they are the ones that would be tasked with putting nominees up. Now, when they put the nominees forward, I believe there still is a selection process that would happen with the board itself and the foundation board members. And they reserve the right to, you know, put out the list, as far as I know. So yeah, 4 people. 4 people are tasked with this. All right, so that is pretty much it for my reasoning. I think a couple of things that I take away from all of this. One, it's very important that with these committees, we have representation at more demographics levels. So I happen to know the committee members, right? Actual selection committee members. And I can assure you that none of them are in any other demographic between 18 and about 50. So I think that's one of the things where if you're not going to include certain age demographics in the actual selection committee, be sure to have independent committees that can also provide information, right? Things that maybe you're not thinking about. I think that's imperative. I think if we continue to think that you know, not having amendments to selection criteria, that stuff needs to be happening, I think, every year at least a meeting about it to say, okay, what worked, what doesn't work, is there something we're missing, are there things we're not doing the right way? I just feel like it's become less about selecting the right people and more about the pageantry of the event itself. I get it. RJR is a broadcasting conglomerate, right? And TVJ and that is the main thing, right? Having this big event and television. But the thing is, again, the people that are representing for Jamaica around the world in their various leagues and what they do, I feel like you have to be able to recognize them. And this whole thing about not being able to objectively recognize them is a bunch of bollocks, because there are objective rankings and ratings of all these leagues that they're playing. So you can use that to objectively rate what they're doing. All right. So please, 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 we don't need any young people selecting our heroes. Well, Football Guru, I'm not saying they need to select. I'm saying they need to have a voice. That's all. And again, you have to be specific in who you would select, but I'm telling you that there are sporting historians that live in Jamaica, participate in Jamaican sporting endeavors and activities that could be a part of some committee that kind of represents that demographic. And they will take it seriously. And they will probably have some ideas that could be implemented. That's all. I think a part of the reason why we're seeing a bit of more engagement with the fans and the JFF is the inclusion of younger people. It's clear. It's clear. So some of the things, some of the marketing strategies, the music being used to accompany the videos that the JFF putting out, all of that stuff is because they have included a younger demographic into the mix. And that has helped with marketing. We have seen better turnouts. And you can't say it's because we're winning, because they haven't even seen a goal and they're still going. So, something has changed. And I believe that has been one of the changes. So, Football Guru, you and your dinosaurs need to understand, like, open the door. Let us in the room. We might have something good to say. They should not be given a voice. RJR made the right choice. Bullshit, Football Guru. Bull crap. Bull crap. Even people in it are saying the same thing as me. So maybe it's not a vast majority. It's a minority, yes. But that sentiment is being expressed as well. And again, you have to be strategic and pick people that make sense. But you can't tell me that there's no people in their 20s and 30s and early 40s that can add to the discussion and know enough about the severity and the seriousness of it. Things are better with the JFF because they have more money, not young people. Well, they have used some of that money and employed some younger people. So I think that has helped them as well. Unless the young people doing it for free, which is possible. That's another reason why I should use young people. They're probably more apt to work for free if you don't want to save money so bad. But yes, I'm not. You see, Football Guru, you're so absolute in your reasoning. I didn't say that the young people is why only. I'm saying that's definitely a contributing factor, because marketing was a big problem with the JFF. And to me, if you're marketing to a wide fan base of people, you can't just have one set of people doing the marketing. We're only thinking about one demographic. You have to include all demographics. That's the entire purpose of marketing. You have to touch as many people as possible. Yes, you have your target core market that you want to market to, but how you really expand is by getting those groups just outside the core to also be interested. Yeah, bro. No, I encourage the discussion, BM, but it's not, I don't know why you would take it to there. But anyway, that is reasoning discussion one, people. Spent a full hour on that. We'll have some more time. No, I know it's not free, but I'm saying they could have easily. I happen to know of some of the players in the marketers that they have employed. And if you look at the age demographic of the people they're employing, they are younger. That's my main point, Football Guru. I'm not saying that they're working for free. I'm just saying if you need work done for free, it's more likely that a young person would do it. Is that not a fact? Yes, I happen to know a lot of the people that are in the marketing firm that they employed. And they are young people in the, well, comparative to the JFF people, most of them, and even the JFF themselves, they are younger board members this go around than the last time. So even they are recognizing that it's something that they need to get better at. Anyway, I know you're totally against anything the youth have going on, and you think that everybody is dunce badness, but there are people in the younger age groups that have a lot of sense, and they deserve to be heard at least. Not saying you have to put them on the board and all those things, but you need to engage them. You need to, because they would have the finger on the pulse of the demographic that we really need to get following the football. All right. Let's move on to my second topic. Marketing skill is different from RJR keeping their standard. The young people will select the wrong people. No, you see, Football Guru, that's where you're wrong. Where has RJR exhibited this standard for selecting nominees and stuff? There is no, they haven't established any standard. Every single year they have nominees. Me personally, I have a problem with the nominees because they don't put people that should have been nominated in it. So I don't know this standard you're talking about. For me, the standard was set by the people running it before RJR, because they actually, it was a true sports foundation that used to actually do philanthropic work and different things of that nature. RJR has just made it about the festivities on the 17th. That's it. So you clearly don't know a lot about this foundation and the history of it. Clearly. So Football Guru, not with this topic, bro. Please. Please. Thank you, Football Guru. So that is where you're coming from there. So she fought against Jamaica. Anyway, we're not take this show there. Bunny Shaw, big up yourself. You should have been nominated. That's foolishness altogether. What happens with a federation and a player should not affect whether she is recognized for her exploits as a professional in the world of sport. And she's a Jamaican that is excelling in her sport in the world. So Football Guru, you and your friend them can go shove the award up your body, because that is ridiculous. Even if you say this right here, right, about fight against Jamaica. So basically you are say, now it's time to fight against you. So she fight against Jamaica, as you say. How she fight against Jamaica, I don't know. She literally go with the team to the World Cup, playing at the World Cup. Say what she have to say in the World Cup based on her experiences, where you never live, Football Guru, because you don't play on the women's Reggae Girls team. Maybe you do. Maybe you are Denisha Blackwood and you just choose to be Football Guru on these platforms. But I doubt it. And regardless of who you thought was wrong or right in that whole scenario, there were two parts to that puzzle: the Jamaica Football Federation and the girls on the team. And maybe three, because you can include Sedella as well. Football Guru, how was that her? That is not a lie. She herself used funding from the GoFundMe to finance herself while she was preparing for the World Cup. Is that not a fact? Is that not a fact? The fact that people ran with it to mean, oh, without the GoFundMe, they wouldn't reach to the World Cup itself. That's on them. She never verbatim said, without the GoFundMe, we wouldn't even be able to travel to Australia. She didn't say that. Those who want to have a reason to be upset at the girls took that to mean that. But they never said that. They said they needed the funding to get to the pre-World Cup, which they did. It's not a lie. Anyway, Football Guru, we're just going to have to agree to disagree on this one, my brother. Again, the criteria needs analyzing. Regardless of if you want to play God and say this person or these people brought the thing into disrepute and you want to leave that as a bullet point, whatever. My thing is just fix the selection, the criteria for selection in those level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, you have to find a way to include exploits that they have when they're performing as a professional in their sport. Okay? And as long as whoever they are does represent Jamaica in their sport, then they should be eligible for nomination. It's my 2 cents. My few cents. All right. Now, the next discussion, people, we have about 30 minutes or so. Yeah, we won't rehash the facts. Everybody had their side that they agreed with, disagreed with. Again, the minister was upset and everybody in Jamaica was upset because it made international news. And how news works, at least maybe not on this channel, because I'm not really a sensationalist person, I don't think. But most of the time, they're going to put the most sensational thing in the headline. So, of course, GoFundMe was spoken about to help the girls get to the World Cup. That's what they're going to put in the title. Again, Bunny Shaw did not say GoFundMe and GoFundMe alone got them to the World Cup. At no point did she say that. But that is what we decided to interpret it as if we wanted to have an argument against the girls. And that is a fact, Guru. At no point did she say, without the GoFundMe, we wouldn't be in the World Cup. She didn't say that. Yeah, Leon Bailey said Jamaica can't do nothing for him. Now, to me, the situation with Bailey is a bit different than the girls because the girls took a stance as a team. Now, the JFF and a lot of people that are on the side of the JFF try to put a narrative that it's really not the girls, you know, it's just these 3 that forced everybody else to do this. So, look, again, we won't rehash the facts. My whole thing is this. All or nothing, RJR. You can't tell me that she's up for a performance of the year for a goal she scored and then not recognize her as an actual nominee. You know what I'm saying? I'm not clueless, brother. I watched the thing with Ian Wright. What are you talking about? I'm not clueless at all. I don't know why when someone disagrees with you, they're clueless. I haven't said you're clueless, you know. I'm just arguing against your points. That's all. I'm just arguing against your points. So don't insult my intelligence, boss. I'm not doing that to you. Or I don't know if you're a male or a female, but yeah. Either way, let's move on. All right. Reggae Boyz striker search. Football guru. I know this is something up your alleyway. You love to discuss football. You're a football guru, right? So let's move off from the off the field stuff that we're not seeing eye to eye on, and let's move into this Reggae Boyz striker search. Now, again, this is something that I think even prior to the sad news about Antonio and his car accident, I was planning on doing a show where we just highlighted the striker part. You know what I'm saying? Because I do think that when you look at who we've used in the past couple of windows, the past couple of years under Halgrimson and now McLaren, it's kind of been the usual suspects, right? Michail Antonio, Shamar Nicholson, and then typically one other, right? We've seen Jamal Lowe, we've seen Ronaldo Cephas used as a striker. We've seen who's another one that we saw? We saw Devante Cole in training, never really got to play, but we saw him around the mix. Romario Williams, we saw them bringing Corey Bennett on last notice for the last one. So there's been a few names around, right? DJ Gig said the striker part should be easy if they're willing to get players like Archer and Burstow, others in my opinion. Yep. You're just trying to spin, Jason. She told Ian Wright that GoFundMe is what got them to the World Cup. Football guru. Yeah, all right, I'll let you have the last word, okay? Because I guess you just want to keep going with this. So it's over. It's over. People can watch back the show, and in the comment section, if you want to continue this in the comment section, we can after the show is done. But for now, let's just move on for the purpose of people wanting to watch back this program and have it make sense. All right, so let's move into the striker search. So again, I'm gonna start with bless up Triple E Wagwan. I'm gonna start with the players that we've kind of seen already playing for Jamaica in the past few windows and just see what they have done or been up to lately. Okay, so I'm gonna use I'm gonna go ahead and use either Transfer Market or Sofa. So I was looking at Trevante earlier, but we'll get back to Trevante. let me first start with, as I said, the players that we have kind of seen in the team recently, just to kind of keep up with what they're up to. Because I think when you're thinking about squads moving forward, surely the baseline, or not the baseline, but the starting point would be who have we been using, who, because continuity is important, right? So this is Shamar Nicholson and what he's been up to this season. The Russian Premier League does have the stats on here, so I'll look on SofaScore for it. So this is just in the Russian Premier League, these stats. So he has an average rating of 6.87. That's his season heat map. So, you know, doing a lot of moving and roaming in his forward role. Sometimes they play with 2 strikers, sometimes they play with 1. He has played 9 games in total. He has 3 starts. He's getting 27 minutes per game. So that we would love to see that increase over time during this season. He's only played a total of 246 minutes all season, so not even 3 full matches in the league. He did make 1 team of the week, which is good in his limited time. He has 3 goals in his appearances so far in the league, and he also has no assists notched as yet. And let's just take a look at his finishing stats. So his goal conversion is 38%. That's not too bad, you know. He does have 2 big missed chances so far on the season. You can see he takes a shot per game in his limited time, and he's scoring every 82 minutes. So, you know, basically that's maybe telling the coach, okay, I need to find more minutes for this guy. If he's been able to produce at least a goal every 82 minutes, then that's something that we'd want to utilize, you know. So that's something to look at, you know, is the clinicalness or the clinical nature of Shamar Nicholson. I think it's something that we as Jamaica fans typically paint him in a light of, okay, he needs maybe 3-4 chances before he gets that 1 goal. But based on his statistics in the Russian league this season, I would think that, you know, his work over there, his off the field work must have been paying off, because that's a very, very good scoring return based on the frequency. You know what I'm saying? Thanks, Jason. At least when you hear the facts, you can walk away unlike your mentor, JD. Yo, Guru, I don't know what your issue with JD is, bro. But I don't know. You always try to mention him at some point whenever you talk to me. It's strange. Like you have an obsession at this point. Yeah, bless up Triple E. Heard about Keenan Davis. Yes, he's on my list. Your genius pal JD says Cephas can be tried as a striker. Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, I do feel like his skill set lends itself to finishing off plays a lot more than setting them up. And I know you can finish off plays coming from wide, but you know, I think sometimes the decision making in those areas can be more costly when it comes to losing the ball in certain areas or after, you know, certain transition plays. So yeah, maybe that could be something that we're looking into for real. I did include him in my list of potential strikers for this video. So yeah, J-Lo should be in the squad based on he can play more than 1 position. But every time I talk about J-Lo, they say that I am defending him too much. You know, I called into Ryan's show one night about Jamal Lowe because it was the topic. And one brother named Fisherman calling after me and say, yo, that brother they sound like him want ball for Jamal Lowe star. And the whole of the comment section at laugh and thing. And I said, boy, see them brother, yeah? We just call in and tell them facts about Jamal Lowe, you know, what him do when he play for Jamaica. Like how infrequently him actually start when him come. Usually forward off the bench, and when him start, him score normally. You know, so like it is what it is. Nicholson's scoring rate for Jamaica is decent. Yeah, it's not bad. I think they have his international stats on here as well. Go to his player profile though. Yeah, 54 appearances, 19 goals. So yeah, not bad at all. Not terrible at all. But yeah, this is what he's been doing in the league, Shamar. So again, the positives for me, the 82 minutes every goal, I think that's wonderful. I just think right now, if you look at their lineup in their most recent game, you know, Ugalde, he's just very hard to displace right now. And that's a player that directly affects our World Cup qualification because he is from Costa Rica, right? So Ugalde, if you look at his season so far, compared to Shamar. And this is basically his direct competition for this spot up front in the team. He's averaging a 7.66, so killing it. I think Shamar was just below 7, I believe. 18 games played, 7 starts. So he's played double the games. His scoring frequency is still right around Shamar there at 96, and of course that's actually just as impressive as the 82 because obviously he's played like 1,200 more minutes. So there's a lot more sample size to see if he can keep it consistent. 15 goals on the season to go along with 2 assists. So he has basically a goal contribution every start. 17 starts, 17 goal contributions, and 18 total matches played and 17 goal contributions in the league alone. Right? If you compare his goal conversion, a little bit lower, 25%, but he's obviously more active being on the pitch more, takes more shots in the game and everything. And his big chances missed in all those extra minutes is only 2 compared to Shamar, who's played 1,200 less minutes and also has 2 big missed chances as well. So for a number of reasons, Shamar is going to find it tough to start in this team unless the coach changes up his strategy and goes away from the one striker system. I don't think he's going to move Ugalde out of that striking role as long as he keeps the form that he's in up. And I don't believe that Shamar is going to uproot him out of that starting role because he's just playing too well. You know what I'm saying? He's just playing too well, people. That's just the honest truth about that. All right, so that is the first person, Shamar. This is what he's done in the cup so far. 5 played, 3 starts, and another goal in the cup. So he has 4 goals total in 14 appearances. No assists yet on the season. So that is Shamar Nicholson. Actually, I think he does have an assist in the league. Hold on. Yeah, he has 2 assists in the league. So 4 goals, 2 assists in a total of, oh no, that's Ugalde. Sorry, I'm the wrong person. Did Shamar have any assists in the league? Let's see. No. Okay, so he has 4 goals in a total of 14 appearances and 6 of those being starts. So that is Shamar Nicholson so far this season in Russia. And my question to you is, are you satisfied with him staying in Russia fighting Ugalde for that spot? Or would you like to see him move along to another club in January if possible? Remember when Boza transferred to Russia, a lot of us said it was a bad move. Here we are 3 years later. Yeah, I was okay with it, I think what killed Russia on this move is the war. I think the war really killed it because they have been taken out of European competition. Their coefficient in leagues has dropped drastically. There has been a mass exodus of some players of quality out of the league. So yeah, I think that because of what they're going through as a nation, it has really played a part in the quality and the standing of the league. So I think without that, it was a chance that it would have been okay, BM. And I really and truly believe if they were still in Europe playing in those competitions, it would be okay. I really do think so. No need to be looking for a new striker. Sifa should be given a chance at center forward. He will do better than Nicholson. Even East is better than Nicholson. Yo, football guru. So you realize that you and JD are actually on the same page on this then, right? Are you sure that's okay with you? Is that okay? Is that okay, football guru? I don't know. Boza killed his career by going to Russia. Yeah, it was tough, man. You couldn't have foretold the future. I mean, at the time when he went, it wasn't really war zone, What is Sifa's record in Jamaica colors? We are going to get to that. So let's look at another player that has been in the squad recently. And we are hearing shouts that potentially he should play through the middle. And we have actually seen him doing it for his club of late as well. So this is Ronaldo Sifa's people. He's listed as a left winger and SofaScore, but I believe that they're going to add the striker role to his setup as well in the near future. So this is him in the Turkish first division. So this is the league under the Super League. He's averaging a 6.75 rating in the league this season. Predominantly playing on the left, but as you can see, some spots in the middle and also on the right. He's played in 11 matches so far this season, starting only 3 of them. He plays about roughly almost a half a game. 485 minutes played total throughout the season. He has 4 goals on the season, a scoring frequency of 121, so a goal about every game and a half. not bad, or a little less than a game and a half. Yeah, 0.4 goals per game. Big chances missed, 1 on the season. He has a goal conversion of 1 in 5, 20%. So if he is going to truly move into the striker role, would like to see that get into the 30s at least moving forward. He has no assists on the season yet in the league. Let's see if they have the stats for the cup. No, they don't. So I will actually utilize transfer market as well, because they will actually give me the full stats from the cup and everything. So let me just go to CFAS's player profile and transfer market. Get that on screen for you guys. Make sure you guys are smashing the like button. We have about 20 more minutes left, so it's going to run through these players quick and fast, and then I will be heading out to take care of some more family business for the rest of the day. All right, but make sure you guys are smashing the like button and be sure to share the content. We had a nice long discussion about the RJR selection criteria before this. Now we're just having a little striker search update where we look at the players and what they're up to throughout the world. All right, so this is Ronaldo Cephas up to 1.3 mil now in market value. These are his appearances in the league. As I said before, 11 appearances, 4 goals, starting 1/5 of the games, playing in about 36% of the overall minutes, and his goal participation is about 18% for his team. And then they have the cup as well. He has 2 appearances in the cup and has scored in both of those appearances. He started both games, come off late in one of them, and he's accounted for 2/5 of the goal contributions in the cup so far. So in this most recent cup game as well, I want to show you on screen, and I got the footage of this goal. It was a long ball taken down, and he was able to beat his defender and score off the left foot to the far post. In the cup, as you can see, he's only played 2 matches, and they're both at center forward. So maybe the coaching staff trying to see if this is indeed where he will be living for now on at the club. He has been successful in both of these cup matches, scoring in both. So that augurs well for him moving forward. But if you look at the league now, I want to show you guys where he's been playing in this first division for the season. So you see the positions he's played: 9 times at left wing, once at center forward, once at right wing. So in the league so far, they have really been using him there. But their most recent league game, where did you see Ronaldo Cephas? Playing right through the middle. So that is, I think his cup performances have really forced the coach's hand, and they are now trying to see if moving forward he is going to be the answer at striker. And of course, in his most recent game on the 8th, he was able to get a goal as well at striker in the league. So that in itself shows you, it might be that the coach at the club and the club itself is looking and saying, okay, where can we get the best out of this player? Maybe he's not grasping everything they want him to grasp out wide. Most of the times he scores goals, it's almost always, cutting into that more inside channel. Now, does he need to start from wide? Maybe. But of course, when you're playing striker, you're going to drift out left and right anyway. So it's okay. Maybe that skill set is something that can work. And also, with him getting those reps in the middle, then maybe that's something we can look at going into the future. So that's something that I'm definitely going to track, and I want anybody that tracks players like myself to do the same. Really take note of where the club is using him, especially in the league. I think at this point in the cup, he's probably going to play striker pretty much always. But the fact that he has now started a game in the league up front, I think is something to look out for the future. Is this something that will happen moving forward? That is the question. All right. So that is Ronaldo Cephas having a decent season in terms of the minutes that he's playing. 4 goals in the league and a further 2 more in the cup. So this is just to show you all the stats now in all the competitions this season. 13 played, 6 goals. Like to see him get on the assist tally as well, but hopefully that will come soon. But not a bad return for a player that was really getting moments off the bench for a lot of this season so far. Of course, we know we had his issues. Looked like he wanted to leave the club, wasn't able to do so. Wasn't reporting to training for a little bit. Looks like the club and himself is behind all of that. And I do know that just based on the footage I've seen from the club, he's definitely a fan favorite over there. So they're trying to find a way to include him in their squad moving forward. All right. And yes, you did ask me about Cephas's record in Jamaican colors. He has played 11 times for Jamaica now, and he has yet to register a goal for Jamaica. He does have 2 assists though, and those came in World Cup qualifiers against, I think he had 2 assists in the game against Dominica, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that's pretty much it for him. He would have gotten a fantasy assist in the he got one in the Dam Rep game and one in Dominica. That's right. He played the cross to Bowser for the 1-0 goal in Dam Rep, and he had that nice through pass to, I believe it was Dixon, for one of the goals in the Dominica game. So yeah, those are the 2 goal contributions in his 11 appearances now for the Reggae Boyz. 3 appearances off the bench in the Copa. A lot of bench appearances actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did he start this game? No, 7. Yeah, I think he started he came off the bench 9 out of his 11 appearances, I want to say. He's only played a total of 415 minutes, so not quite 5 full games as yet played for Jamaica. So yeah, that is basically what Cephas has been up to, people. So let me now just look at the comment section a little bit. Agree on Bowser improvements. Yeah, I think in front of goal he's gotten a bit better. I notice when Bowser plays regularly, he starts to fire. Yeah, it's going to be tough though, man. Ugalde is a baller, bro. Man, some of these challenges sell cuckoo juice, so couldn't expect better when you mention someone that at that level, but they don't rate him. Yeah. I think people are underwhelmed by his Jamaica performances, but I just don't think that they watch the players enough to know how they play. So they're expecting, I don't know what they're expecting, but to me, he plays a lot like how he plays when he's playing for his clubs. And we just don't really give him the time to affect the game most of the time. Jamal Lowe isn't big, fast, strong, and can do 100 step overs. We say he needs to move out. Which club really wants Bowser? Well, let Bowser tell it. He had the chance to go to some clubs and decided to not necessarily go for the biggest league and go to the place where he thought he would get the most opportunities. But now they have found another striker that is taking his opportunities away. So I don't know. Shamar could go to Turkey, Portugal, France, Championship, or Belgium. Before Bowser went to Russia, he was firing 13 goals, 5 assists in 18 games in half a season. Yeah, that time at Charleroi was incredible. That ending time, Russian bias. Nicholson is hanging on for his money. He did as well as Ugalde when he joined Spartak. Shamar joined at the same January window like Ugalde and did better scoring. Yeah, but it wasn't sustained. JD is a hater. He was bashing Cephas, but he is selfish. He's a local-born basher. I disagree. I have watched many of Cephas' game in Turkey. He has started at centre forward before he has scored most of his goals for his club from the centre forward position. I don't know which games you're referring to, to be honest, because I won't say I've watched much of the games themselves, but I have been able to look back at the games and kind of see spells in games in terms of like a stretch of time when he was on the pitch. And yeah, he typically starts off the left for them. Typically. Now, substitutions happen in game and he might drift in field. He might get changed to the striking role. But to start out a game, if he's starting, very rarely does he start up front. Because they play with a three up front system. Or more like a 4-2-3-1 type of thing. And he's one of the 3 behind the striker. Or they play a 4-3-3 and he's left of the striker. Or right sometimes. But the 2 cup games they have played, he started at striker. And then the most recent game they played, he started at striker. So I don't know. Maybe you're talking about games when they were in the first league, but not this year. Yeah, because if you look at his overall time there, if I just say, okay, so let's look at Ankara go through all seasons. Yeah, he's literally only started 3 games at striker his entire time he's been at the club. Because I have it on every season. He's now made 48 appearances for the club. Wow. 9 goals, 3 assists. The thing is, though, in his 3 games when he's played center forward, he has 3 goals. So the output increases drastically. So hopefully they look at that. Shamar qualified for automatic work permit before the beginning of the season, but has lost points since he isn't playing much. Okay. Good to note. Good to note. So the move in January is going to get tougher then, is what you're saying. And club have to want him to. All right, the next player, people, what we want to check on is a player that I used to beat a lot back when he was getting called for Jamaica. Like, probably more than was even deserved. And that is Javon East. So Javon East, who we will also see in the Concacaf Champions Cup. His team will be in round 1 in January, playing a home and away leg. But Javon East is over in Saprissa in Costa Rica. They actually have made it to the Apertura finals. I need to check. I was watching the other semi-final last night. Herediano had a 2-goal deficit to overturn against Alajuelense last night, but I don't know. I saw the first half and then I got a little busy, wasting my time watching the stupid Knicks lose. But yeah, in that game, I'm just curious to see what happened, to see who actually got through the Apertura. So that match ended 2-2, which means Herediano would continue on to the final and aggregate 4-2. So the final should be coming up soon, and that's going to be actually Javon East and Saprissa taking on Herediano in the final. But this is what Javon has been up to in the Apertura season, which probably is what we should look at the most. This is, from summer to now, basically. 21 appearances. Actually, when does the Apertura actually start? Because I know it's basically 2 seasons. Yeah, so it's July. So from summer to now, so 21 appearances, 8 goals, 2 assists for Javon East. As you can see, starting 86% of the games. Let me just go to the detailed performance data just to show you guys a little bit better. And this is just this Apertura season, so from July to now. So the most recent form, right? So as you can see, plays majority of the time up front, can play off the right as well, cutting in inverted, and did have 1 game this season as a left winger in their system, right? But he's played 21 times, 8 goals, 2 assists. Definitely doing his thing this season. Has had more prolific goal scoring seasons, but I think overall his gameplay, build-up play, link-up play has improved immensely from when he got to Costa Rica to start playing for this team. And of course, he's been at a few teams in Costa Rica, but this team right here, Saprissa, definitely a club that, yeah, because I think he went to Guapiles first and then moved on to Saprissa, yeah. San Carlos. Yeah, so he's bounced around a bit, but Saprissa has been home since 2022, and he has definitely worked his way into one of the key members of the squad. As you can see, he has been up to a lot of trophy winning while he's been in Costa Rica, and he's been a big part of all of these trophies as well. He's the top goal scorer in the Clausura in 2021. He has 2 times won the Invierno Championship with Saprissa, won the Summer Championship as well. So that is Apertura and Clausura, basically. He's won both of those twice. So you see they've been winning back-to-back, right? They've won the Super Cup. And of course, he has his Jamaican triumphs as well, winning the Caribbean Club Championship that Cavalier just won in 18-19 with Portmore, right? So that is Javon East with Saprissa and all his accomplishments. But again, this is a player that I feel like we have just missed a trick. We haven't really been keeping up with what he's doing. Also, this is the playoffs that led them to the final. 2 times he has played so far, and he has 2 goals. So quite interesting that he didn't start all the games in the playoffs. But yeah, they only had this one matchup semi-final. So it just goes straight to a top 4. But he started one and came off the bench in the other. Now, other than this, they have also been playing in the Concacaf Central American Cup, for which they have qualified to the Champions Cup proper in the Concacaf. And of course, he started every game out of their 8 appearances in this competition, and he had 4 goals, 3 assists. So really did his thing in this competition. Now he started 3 times and then 5 times wide. So again, Javan East is an option that I think McLaren will like, because he can play as a striker, he can play off the right. So I think he gives you the option to be used different ways. If you're going with a more attacking player on the right that maybe requires us to get a goal, or even a 2-striker system of some sort, I think he could function well in that, because he can play back to goal or going at the defenders. I think he's one of the few Jamaican players that I feel like can do both, especially at this stage of his career, something that I think maybe he couldn't do as well when he first made the move away from Jamaica. I think that's something that if you're watching play now, that is one of the things that I noticed first before anything, how much better he is in all the phases of play besides just finishing or scoring a goal or setting up a goal. I think he's gotten a lot better playing with his teammates in all areas of the pitch. Davis and Archer. Okay, to get the exemption. Cephas Norman Campbell whisper my picks for young attackers. He's up to 10 goals in 21 games. Yeah. Well, he scored. You have to count these games as a different set of games, because am I not showing it on the screen? My bad. Yeah, East has 10 in 23. That is it. Because what I was showing was so let's do all competitions in 2024-25. This will give you the breakdown right here. So in the Apertura, between playoff and the regular season, you have 23 played, 10 goals and 2 assists. So 12 contributions in 23. Central American Cup, 7 in 8. Wonderful there. Then you have the Copa de Costa Rica, Recopa, Super Cup, all those things. He did score in the Super Cup. So 34 games this season, right? 15 goals, 5 assists. So very, very good stats, good turn. Very, very good contribution and output there. And I think Javan East for sure needs a chance again. His last appearance for Jamaica, I want to say it was World Cup qualifying under Tapa. I think that was the last time he would have played. Let me just make sure that I'm right with that. Yeah, Costa Rica. He got 32 minutes in that game. I was actually thinking that this performance was his last one when we hosted Costa Rica. But that's right. He did play in the he did play in the home fixture as well. I thought when we went away that was his last game. But you see, he played in Honduras, played Canada as well at home for all these appearances off the bench. I think his last 6 appearances for Jamaica would have been from the bench. Before that, he played 90 minutes in Serbia, 90 against Saudi Arabia. So he was in the mix for the first part of the qualifiers last time. But somehow, was just on the outs after that. I guess when some other coaches came in, maybe he just was not seen as the same level or what was needed at the time. Even Paul Hall was the last manager to give him a chance. And then once Hallgrimson came in, we haven't really heard anything about Javan East since then. And to be honest, on form and merit, arguably he's probably the one that has been the biggest snub, to be honest. Even others have gotten chances that I think it wasn't quite merited as much as Javan East, right? So that is Javan East right there. He's played a lot of games last season. You're right about them managing the minutes. I think that's a part of the reason why in the league this year he's had a few more bench appearances. They're definitely utilizing him a lot in any regional competitions. He's playing every game of those. But in the league, you're right. They kind of pick and choose. They play him against the bigger teams, and he'll come off the bench if need be. Javan has not been given a fair chance. He has only started for Jamaica in 2 friendlies. Yep. Yeah, he's up to 20 caps now, but I think the bulk of his appearances came against like regional competition at first, and then sub appearances in qualifiers and two 90 appearance starts in some friendlies. So yeah, I agree. He definitely needs to be revisited at this point, and I have no problem anybody saying Javanese needs to be in that pool of strikers to be selected or even considered for selection, right? I have no issue with that. Now, the next player that I want to talk about is another player that has been around the Jamaica team before. And, some will say, boy, it's not in keeping with me always wanting to bring the youth to the table. But again, striker is a weird spot on the field for me, people. I think form and consistency and what you're doing very lately is important. So this guy might not fit the age profile for a lot of you, but for me, he fits the talent profile and the ability profile. All right. And I do think that what I've seen of him recently, it looks like he is a bit more fit in terms of just his ability to run around on the field. The speed with which he's running at as well has increased from what I saw of him in Saudi Arabia the last time. So this is a player that I think is going to divide opinion, but I think should also be considered in this pool of strikers, okay? And that is Andre Gray of Plymouth Argyle. Now, Andre is 33 years of age. By summertime, after we play those June matches, he will be turning 34, and that's 2025. So, looking like about 35, 36 by the time the World Cup would roll around. But again, we're talking about getting us through a phase of matches, right? And scoring goals for us in these qualifiers. Now, in the perfect world, everybody using qualifiers will go to the World Cup. But me personally, I think that they need to be open and interested in whatever can make the team look its best. I know some have said, boy, cut off the time and don't call nobody else. Well, this is not somebody that we'd have to cut off. We actually cut him off of the team based on him not really getting that much game time. Even when he was in Saudi Arabia, he was starting, maybe not as prolific as he could be, but I think he was still scoring goals and potentially could have been in a lot of these squads that we had, especially when we had players dropping out due to injury or anything of that nature. He just seems like an afterthought. We don't really think about him anymore. And when you really look at what he's done for Jamaica, it's not terrible. I mean, he has 13 appearances for 3 goals for Jamaica, right? And also, when you look at what he's done so far with Plymouth, it's not that bad either. So he joined Plymouth late in the season. After it had started, he joined as a free agent. And I'm trying to find when he actually got there. Okay, so the 3rd of October, 2024. So that would have been basically 2 months after the season would have started. So he didn't start the season with them, but he has been somebody that has added something to their team. So he started half of the games he's played in so far. 4 matches out of the 8. He's now up to 55 minutes per game, which was much lower about 3 weeks ago. He's played 443 minutes. So in that little short period of time, he's already played more minutes than Shamar in his league that he's in. He has made a team of the week in that short time as well. He has 3 goals so far, scoring at a frequency of 148 minutes. So not bad. A goal, a little less than every 2 games. Big chances missed, 0. So that's one thing about Andre Gray that I've always liked. In Jamaican colors, I don't remember him getting a number of chances, but he tends to score the chances that he gets, which I've always liked about him. You see his goal conversion up in the 40s. That's very, very good, right? And he also has an assist as well to go along with those 3 goals. So every start, he basically has a goal contribution per start, so 4 and 4. And I just feel like this player, with his experience, his know-how, I think he has enough knowledge of the Concacaf opponents as well at this point, where you're not expecting him to come and just be shell-shocked with the conditions and all these things. I think he's somebody that we should definitely consider, people. As long as he can stay healthy with Plymouth Argyle, keep getting more and more minutes. As I said early on in his time there, the first 4 games or so, his minutes per game were down in the 20s or 30s. He's since started a few of the games as well, and that has been able to let his minutes per game increase. And we haven't really seen a drop in his output, so to speak. So let's just track him. Of course, he has a long list of injury problems, especially with the knees. But again, he passed the eye test for me as far as how he's looking physically on the pitch, running around. So Andre Gray, another player that I would include when we're talking about players and potential players to get into this national team. Gordon don't like Javan, so I don't think he's going to get called. So it's a personal thing. Okay, well, I could see that. I mean, it kind of corresponds with when Meran would have been. I mean, he would have been in Paul Hall's team as well in terms of setup of coaching. Because he was there from. Was he there when Tapa was there? I'm pretty sure he was around. Because it was Tapa, Paul Hall, and I think Meran was also around. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So yeah, I guess, I don't know. I guess so. Gray's international days are for Jamaica are over. Better we call Trevante. Yeah, I wouldn't stick a fork in him just yet, football guru. Jason, why not call Trevante instead of going back for Gray, who is in the twilight of his career? Trevante Stewart, 18 games, 7 goals, 2 assists. Yeah, absolutely, BM. As you saw, when I went to SofaScore originally, I had him on screen because I was doing my research before we did the show. And he was the last player that I had looked at in my list. And Trevante Stewart is definitely someone that we need to revisit as well. I think what's going against Trevante right now is he was caught up in the whole hullabaloo with Bailey. And I think at the time, he had quite a bad performance, I thought, in that Canada game, as well as Bailey as well. But of course, Bailey is at the level he's at and has the fan base he has already. I think Trevante is kind of trying to grow into that, right? And even though I think people should have gave him a lot more credit for being able to make the move to Serie A, you know, it just ain't the same. If he had moved to the Premier League, probably Trevante would have had that same kind of name recognition. But I think Jamaicans are so in love with the Premier League and La Liga more than anything else. The Serie A move maybe didn't excite fans as much as I thought it should have, you know. Now, maybe they were waiting to see what he did in Serie A, and if they were, then I would understand why the excitement would have dwindled, because he didn't really get to do much in Serie A. Just proved to be maybe a step too high for him at the time. But I must say, in the Serbian league this season, he has really started to come good. Now, if you look at his stats in the league this season, he's where we want to see our players. In the green, above 7.07. And the breakdown of statistics look like this. He has played 17. And what I love about this the most, he has started every single game he's played in the league this season. He's getting 79 minutes per game, so playing a lot of the games in full. A lot of minutes logged, 1,300 and odd. So when you look at our strikers and how much minutes they've logged in their top league that they're in, this is a big, big plus for him compared to a lot of the others. 2 team of the week, so that's nice as well. He has 6 goals and 2 assists in the league this season. He's won a penalty. Let's take a look at the goal conversion. And this is where I think, for me, this is what kills him, right? Not kills him to the point of not being considered, but he needs to improve this aspect of his game big time. 14 big chances missed on the season. So that basically tells me, I'm not saying you're not going to miss big chances. You're going to miss big chances. But let's say he misses half of those. That's 13 goals on the season, maybe close to the top in the league goal scoring. So it's really the difference between being an elite striker and just being a good striker. Goal conversion, we just saw Andre Gray up in the 40%. Now, the minutes are a lot less, so the sample size is smaller, so we have to account for that. But 12%, definitely need him to improve that. We need that at least at 25 to 35%, at least, right? That's what we need from you, Trevante. So we asked you to improve your link-up play. I think I've watched you play enough games this season to say you have done that. We asked you to improve your fitness, because I always looked like you were behind the play a lot. Every time I see you play, it just look like you're a step slow. I think you have improved that. I think you've also improved the mental side of the game, because you're not so behind the thought process of so many plays. I see you involved now. I see you anticipating more. And the fact that you have been in position to create or to have this many big chances to miss, I will give you a notch for that as well, because I think that's another thing that I thought could always improve was your movement in the box. I think too many of your goals from Mount Pleasant, you kind of depended on yourself beating a bag of people, and then you scored a goal. When you got to the Serie A, you realized you couldn't play like that. And because you didn't have the link up like you wanted, or they wanted you to have, I noticed that they would stick you on the left or the right and just have you play a role. And you weren't comfortable doing that. So I'm happy about a lot of things about Trevante. But again, the main thing that I think you need to work on is the goal conversion. So I remember Boza talking about when he got overseas, one of the main things he realized was coaches don't necessarily want you to just beat the ball into the goal. There's going to be times when them just literally want you to pass the ball, pick a corner, pass the ball. That's what I see in your game, Trevante, that you need to add. You want to score with your instep pretty much all the time, and perhaps you lose some accuracy because of that. Sometimes it calls for a different type of finish, and I think you will get there in repetition and time. But I must commend you because I do think that you have made some improvements this season. And look, the Serbian league is not no like a soft soap league either. So I don't want people to downplay his accomplishments in this league. I think he's worthy of being looked at and talked about, and definitely potential to be in this Reggae Boyz team in those games in March for sure, and moving forward. But we'll continue to track it. He does have a goal as well in one appearance in the cup in Serbia. So that's how I think Guru got to the 7 goals. So 17 in the league, 6 goals, 2 assists, and then 1 in the cup with 1 goal in that one appearance. Yeah. So that is it. That is it. Yeah, I had a little talk on Bunny, man. I think they're doing her wrong in Jamaica, bro. They need to make her nominated for the Sportswoman of the Year. Gooner will go on for Keenan Davis. Him never they want to come one at a time. Yeah, so I don't know the personal history of Keenan Davis and like what he is doing, but you see him name pop up right to the top. Because I was doing searches the other day, my research, and Keenan Davis, he's in Udinese now. You know, he got bought by them last season before the start of the season for 2.3 mil. I believe he's under contract there until, let's see, when is his contract until? So the 2027. So he might have a few more years on the contract. But let's take a look at what he's done so far. So not quite in the green this year, but he's at 6.89, so not terrible. That's a decent rating for the season. But let's say about the minutes and the time on the pitch, right? So he's played 14 matches. He started 6 of them. He's averaging about 50 minutes per game. He's played a total of almost 700 minutes so far this season. He has 2 goals in that time frame, only 1 big chance missed, goal conversion rate of 14%. And he has 1 assist. So 2 goals, 1 assist in 14 played. Starting 6 times out of the 14 times he has played in this current season, right? So for him, the thing that I like about him is he's a powerful running forward. I think the way that we play, a lot of times, and it's happening less frequently under this manager, I think, where the forward line is very isolated. But I think if we ever play teams where we will have that kind of bunker system, or we're on the back foot a lot, I think Keenan Davis' skill set lends itself to that type of ball game. He's 6'2", he's quick. He also has good strength on him, can hold up the play well, but I think he's also good driving at defenders. You know, as you can see in his stats, right? He has 1 successful dribble per game. He's very successful in his duels, whether aerially or on the ground, right? 44% total, not terrible. Strikers, typically forward players are, you know, going to be 30s, 20s overall. They're not really going to be the best at winning duels, but he's decent there, especially in the air. And I just feel like with him, it's just about fitness. You know, if you look at his recent career, you're going to see this marking right there for injured a lot, right? Even currently in December, he had a bit of time out. So, you know, he just returned on I think in November after being out for a little while, for a couple of weeks. You know, he missed some time earlier in the season as well when they first were starting out. So, towards the end of last year, he missed time, you know, from January, February into April and everything. Missed a few weeks in November as well. So, you know, with him, it's just going to be fitness and staying fit. I do think, though, he has the skill set for sure. What I want to check, though, what I need to find out about him is, you know, where in the process is he? Is he even thinking about Jamaica? Are we thinking about him? Have we reached out? I don't really know, honestly, what's going on with this player. But I do agree with I think somebody said it above, Javari. I know one time I did hear about him having some interest. So that's one that we can definitely revisit. Good age profile, people burning out the 33-year-old Gray. I just feel like Gray right now is a better goal scorer than Keenan Davis, and I think we need goal scorers more than anything. So, Keenan Davis, one to look at, one to keep track of. I would love to see him getting a bit more time with the club in terms of starting. And also, he's a player that can function in a wide role as well. So, is it that we kind of have enough of those center forward / wide players? And really and truly, we need to start to key in on some actual strikers, number 9s, back to goal type of players. That's one thing we need to look at, right? But Keenan Davis definitely has the ability. Whether he is on the radar of the JFF at all is a question that I will definitely get the answer to at some point. But yeah, in terms of market value being worth £3 million, pounds it is, or euros, sorry. I would say that, there's quality in this player. He's bounced around quite a bit, Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest, Watford, back to Aston Villa after loan, and now finally making his move to Italy. And it hasn't really been the most fruitful move for him in terms of output, but I do think that the fact that he went out and challenged himself was a good look. And it's showing that currently he has a muscle injury. So there you go again. There you go again with the what's going on. He's expected to return at the end of this month. So yeah, he has a contract until 2027. He has an option for a further year as well. But I feel like with what's been going on with him at the club and his appearances, maybe they'll be looking to get something for their 2.3 euro investment that they made. He does have a goal in the Italian Cup after 2 appearances off the bench in that competition, and he has 2 goals and an assist in the Serie A itself. So 3 goals in total and 1 assist on the season in a total of 16 appearances. So not the most prolific, but I do think if given more chances, perhaps could score a lot more goals for this team, Udinese, right? All right, so that is Keenan Davis and what he's going on with. Were there any other players you guys wanted me to look up? Because I'm about close to the end of the program here. We're over the 2-hour mark, so we have hit our goal. We ran a little bit longer on the discussion with the RJR, but that was to be expected. That was quite a spicy one. But yeah, this conversation has been good as well. Just trying to show people some players. We looked at Trevante Stewart, Javon East, Keenan Davis, Shamar Nicholson, Romario Williams. We've kind of done the research on before leading up to the last window. Corey Bennett is one that popped out of nowhere the last time, so we can look at his stats and see what he was up to last year. Let me see. When the best human goal scorer, Sinclair, Canada never once got a women's Ballon d'Or. Come on, man. UK Euros don't respect us. No, see, I wasn't crying about Bunny not winning the Ballon d'Or, I was crying that Jamaica did not include her in the Sportswoman of the Year. So it's not even people around the world, if McLaren and his staff are doing their job by now, they will be aware of East. I can find out about every Jamaican player doing well by myself without the tools available to them. No, and the thing is, the tools that they're using, we can buy if we want them. So, yeah, because they mentioned Y Scout. That's just literally something you pay for. So, anybody can do it if they want to pay for it. That closer to his level, no one going to take that chance again in a local player. Okay. Saying to go to Serie A, maybe you need to play more central when playing for the national team, Trevante. Yeah, I think he was always used as like a 2-striker system, which would kind of make you drift to a wing. But yeah, under this coach, he doesn't really play that as much. So maybe it would work better now. Useless identifying players who might not be eligible or might not care. Let us, those who have their passports and want to play. But football guru, that's the thing. You are a football guru. Are you a passport guru too? And a Pika guru? Because you are so definitive about players who don't want to play. Like, how do you know these things? He wants guaranteed to start if he comes to play for us. Okay, that's going to be tough. He was at Villa with Bailey and didn't show any interest. We have to stop run down people who are not interested. Okay, so Keenan Davis was at Bailey with Villa, you say, right? When did Leon Bailey go to Villa? Isn't this Bailey's third season right now? Because he wasn't at Villa, you know. He was on loan. So I don't know when Bailey would have seen him to talk to him. Yes, he was employed by Villa, but that first season Bailey was there, he was on loan. And when he returned from loan, he got sold. So when did Bailey really see him to talk to him about this? So it was 2021 that Bailey joined, right? And Keenan Davis, I'll tell you what he was up to. So Davis joined in January. All right, so Davis was in the team when he joined in 2021, but he was loaned out in January of 2022 to Forest, and then loaned out the season after that to Watford for the entire season. So Bailey would have been around him for probably 3 months, and based on him getting loaned out in Jan, I would probably suggest that Keenan Davis was not in no damn team. You know, maybe he was training with the youth team at the time or something, because he wasn't getting much minutes with Aston Villa. So how often would they even come in contact with each other? I don't know. You heard anything about the left and right back fixing? No, all I heard was an interview with Speed and Oral Tracy talking about we have the next Roberto Carlos and the next Cafu playing in Jamaica. That's all I've heard. So maybe that's what people are referring to when they say the left back and right back. Wagwan. We're outside, coach. A lot of players not going to waste more time and come, and they're not going to play. Yeah, look, but that's the thing, though. I mean, if a player wants to represent Jamaica, I don't think that we should be. It shouldn't be about, you know, playing time and stuff like that. I mean, that's something that you would bring into the club. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't want to force the coach's hand in that type of regard, because you never know. You might come into training and, yeah, we think you're a starter, but you're doing pure foolishness in training. So we must still start it because we promised you. No, I mean, I don't know how true that is, Ernest Murray. I have no proof of that, but I just feel like if that's the case, then that's foolishness. I don't agree with that at all. You know, and I understand agents play a part in all these things, and maybe the agent felt that way, but surely a player would know a team dynamic exists, you know, regardless of if it's the national team or the club team. And if you ain't having the same energy at your club, then don't try to bring that to Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? You can't want, say you're going to start for us, and over your career, you have never been a starter anywhere you've been. Like, honestly. And I'm not saying that's the case with Keenan. I know he started a lot of games for Watford while he was there. But I'm just saying in general, you can't be in a situation where you're starting less than half of your games at your club team, but yet still you want to make demands over playing time with Jamaica. That don't make no sense to me. All right, so the next player, right, we want to look on, another striker that I think is out there doing their thing is this young man right here. And we know from interviews and various other correspondence that he indeed would like to represent Jamaica. He has no, he's not waiting for England to call him or anything of that nature. He is ready to play for Jamaica right now. So this is what he is up to, people, and this is none other than Malik Madasil. So, football guru, before you tell me no foolishness about the player them, I happen to know that this player wants to play for Jamaica, okay? So this is not speculation. This is not me making up things. I actually know that the player wants to play, all right? Cool. So now that that's established, let's talk about the player. And the player is none other than Malik Madasil. So this is what Malik has been up to this season for his club. Obviously, he plays at Peterborough United. They are in the English League One, same league as Charlton, of course, where we have Karai Anderson and Kaheem Dixon. So this is what he's been up to in the League One proper. He has 18 appearances so far in the season, 6 goals and 3 assists. So 9 contributions in 18, basically a contribution every 2 matches. And then you see he starts 78% of the time in the league, plays 83% of all the minutes, and he's about a little more than a quarter of the goal participation. He is a part of those, right? So that's very good stats on the season for 21-year-old Malik Mothersill. Now, he has played as well in the EFL Trophy a few times, 3 appearances with 1 goal there, starting 2/3 of the games that they have played in this competition. And then he has played in the FA Cup twice, starting both games. No output there, and he's played in the Carabao Cup once, didn't start in that one, no goals there. So overall on the season, he has played 21, 23, 24 games. He has 7 goals and 3 assists. So 24 games, 10 goal contributions so far this season. And Malik Mothersill is comfortable anywhere in the front 3. He has good height on him, 1.87 meters, but I think the build can be worked on some more. Still a very wiry figure, not that muscular, but I think he does play with good strength when he plays. I think that's something he can improve though. Maybe a little bit more gym work as well. But I think when you look at his career so far, really believed in himself. Left Chelsea, even though he probably could have stayed and continued to go the path of the PL2 and all of that. Wanted to play at the first team level, so he went ahead and got this move to Peterborough in League One. And I think him betting on himself has paid dividends. He was able to bring the club a trophy last year, being one of the star players in the EFL Trophy last season. That run kind of forced his way into the starting lineup of the club now, and as you can see this season, he's been a staple in the starting lineup, starting about 80% of the game so far, and staying fit as well. So for me, Malik Mothersill, 21 years of age, definitely wants to represent Jamaica, to my knowledge, not waiting on anything. I think he's now in the process of securing what he needs to secure, and just letting anyone watching this in the Jamaican contingent, whoever deals with reaching out and what have you, hopefully I've already done so with this player, because based on what I know and correspondence with people that he knows, he is definitely willing and wanting to be representing the Jamaica team. All right, people, so let's go ahead and make sure that we're doing what we need to do. I want a Jamaican passport. I want to play for Jamaica. I can get it. And social media nowadays make it easy for anybody who wants to play for Jamaica to let the coach know. Too many excuses. Oh, God. Yeah, but the thing is, maybe some people in the JFF don't believe that the kid is ready, Maybe. I mean, that's possible too, They could have done all the things they need to do, got the passport, and nobody's like rushing to even call them, Don't have to start Ascraft. Watching me don't look bad. He can be in squad and play. Gooner, see how Pulisic little. I think you just have to be smart as a small player. No, that's for sure. That's for sure. I'm not, but the thing is, Pulisic kind of, not only is Pulisic smart though, he's also like incredibly fast. So he knows that sometimes he can just push it and go around people and not have to get the physicality, And Mothersill is fast too. So, hopefully, but I think a part of the reason why he's played a lot more on the left side and right side sometimes this year is because of that reason. In League One, those guys are just big, brutish defenders who just them not run for body, you know what I mean? And I think Concacaf has those type of defenders too. So if I'm just realistically looking at it, that's the one. I can't just tell you, yo, this guy is the best thing since sliced bread. He does have some things that he could work on, and for me, that's one of the things. Just playing a little bit more, using his strength or gaining some more strength. I think that would be helpful to him, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, of all those guys that were in that Chelsea contingent, I think Malik is the one that to me has verbalized the most that he does want to play for Jamaica. So I'm going to include him in this list. Now, as I continue to do research on these players, I'm making it my point to kind of try to figure out who and who really does want to play for us, right? I know a lot of people are eligible. Some really and truly do want to wait and just see how it plays out for their careers. Others don't have any interest. I mean, obviously, if England were to call them, it's not like they would say, hey, get out of here, I'm waiting for Jamaica. But I'm just saying, there are younger players that don't have England in their mind. They just really want to be able to, they want to get into the teams. They just want to play for Jamaica because of whatever reasons. We saw Karai Anderson say, it was always Jamaica for him because of just how he was his upbringing. So there are different things for different people, you know what I'm saying? It is what JD tells you isn't better than what we have. He's one for the future if he's still interested and isn't good enough for England. He's like Hutchinson, love the culture but not the walk. Yeah, I disagree. I think Hutchinson proved that he was about the culture because he came to play for us against Trinidad. And I think you, football guru, for somebody that knows so much about the football in Jamaica, you should know how Hutchinson was spoken to after those friendly games. All right. And that should make you understand perhaps why we are where we are now with that player. Okay. Up. Thinking Mothersill is not ready and he playing week in, week out in the same league with Dixon that can't make the bench is madness. Yeah, you notice I did not bring up any comparison because that's when people say, oh, you love bash. I'm not a basher. I am gonna look at facts, you know what I'm saying? And obviously I have to interject what I think at times, but it's rooted in facts. Everybody that I spoke about today, I didn't just come tell you how I love them. I came and showed you something about what they've been doing. So if you can't have the conversation after that, then you just don't want to have it. I watched Mothersill a few days ago. He's not ready. Don't let JD fool you. Same way he used to go on about Antonio, who has not done much on the field for Jamaica. Yeah, well, look, I know you have a personal vendetta against JD. It's clear. But again, you and him agree on Cephas playing striker. So maybe you need to reevaluate if you really think Cephas should play striker, because you're agreeing with the person that you say can't be right about anything. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But yeah, I actually watched the game you're talking about as well, because I've made it a point to try to make sure I watch this kid play, especially. Because look, I don't want to be the one to come and tell people about a player and then, them pull me up on it and say, yo, what you talk about, man? This brother, But yeah, I watched the game that they just played against Northampton. I was able to get the clips from it. And I thought he did well. You know what I'm saying? Had a goal in the game as well, which I know that's not everything, but he did score. He was productive. But yeah. Yeah, DJ Giggs would like to know, is Dixon ready? Because they're in the same league. And Dixon can't really play for his team. And Mothersill, as you saw, plays about 78% of the time starting for his team. So did Hutchinson get disrespected when he last represented Jamaica? I thought it was a bit of disrespect, yes. BM, I thought it was a bit of disrespect. To be totally honest, though, I don't think this platform is the best place to share what I know of the situation, because I don't think what I know would be able to. Yeah, I just don't feel like sharing it publicly. But BM, you have my contact, BM, so you can reach out privately and let you know what's going on. Mothersill team doing well over there too, and I like them. They're 10th in the table. We don't need any players who, when they get booed, don't come back. You need to be tough to play for Jamaica. Holgate, come back. Yeah. It was a penalty goal. Okay, so penalties don't count anymore. All right, Guru, respect. Just like set piece not count for Arsenal. So the man say, it's a penalty goal, and I need to let you guys know the truth. So yes, people, Malik Mothersill scored a penalty. But don't you think that's even more fitting that he scored a penalty? Because if him play yesterday in a game in the league against Northampton and the man score a penalty, which it wasn't a penalty, So I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know why him say it's a penalty when it wasn't. But even if it was, I would say, that's quite good, because enough ball on the team. And you pick no matter still to take the penalty for no. Really? So what that tell you? So Madasil, all right, this is what I never show for him that I needed to. And this is the last thing I'm gonna show you about Madasil. And football guru, I hope one day, if he does indeed get the chance to play for us, and does decent, does well, you can at least accept, that maybe you weren't correct about your assessment of Madasil and how he's not tough and everything like that. I mean, a player that leaves the comforts of Chelsea when they offered him to stay and goes to play big man football at some other place that is nowhere near the level of Chelsea just because he believes in himself that much to get right back to where he's leaving. I think that shows enough toughness for me right there. Anyway, he's played 14 times after starting. Out of the 18, he's played 75 minutes per game, almost 1,400 total, one team of the week, 6 goals, and we've done this for everybody else. Scoring frequency 225, so a little more than 2 goals a game, basically 2.5 matches. And then he has 7 big chance missed with a goal conversion of 25%. So we can live with the 25, the 7 big chance miss. Would like that to come down a little bit, but that's about half of I think what Trevante had, and Trevante played about the same amount of minutes. I think Trevante was 1,400 odd, he's 1,351. So 7. He did win a penalty as well this season. Let me see, does he even have a penalty goal? I don't even think he has a penalty goal, so I don't know what this man talking about. Okay, season penalty shot map. He's 2 for 2. All right, so he scored 2 penalty, but none of them was the other day. Unless, yeah, he scored 1 in November and 1 in September. So, I don't know which penalty attack. Or the other day was the November game, I guess. That was the other day. But yeah, Malik Madasil, 21 years of age. He's ready, people. Don't let them tell him no rubbish. He's ready and he actually wants to represent. Yeah, it wasn't a penalty. I don't know why I'm saying that. It must be a different game. You can't judge a player by sofa score. Football guru, I am only judging them, not judging them. I'm only putting sofa score on the screen because I am not allowed to play football matches on the screen. But that doesn't mean that I can't watch the games myself, which I do. So, football guru, I think a part of the reason why you and JD clash so much is because the both of you have an issue with other people being able to watch football too. Because JD always wants to challenge me when I say I watch a game, as if like me can't watch a game too. Or, you know what I'm saying? And he doesn't do it as much. I think now he realizes that, damn, maybe he does watch the games. I think he gives me that credit by now. But you need to do the same, football guru. I don't challenge you for watching games. I trust that you can because you have the ability to. If you have devices and you have the internet, you can watch any game. You can find any game. That's the beauty of the game right now. You can find games if you look hard enough. So, don't assume that I don't watch the games too. All right. In fact, a lot of the time, my free time goes towards watching football so that I can get on these programs and talk with some sense. Father still is a good player. One poor game doesn't mean that the player is not good enough. That's true. If Hutchison didn't return because he got booed, then he can stay in England. No, that wasn't it. English fans abuse the black players all the time, yet those same players still want to represent England. Absolutely. No, it was not. I don't know why he referenced the boo part so much. You listen too much to JD. Mothersill was not offered a new contract by Chelsea. No, okay, whatever, guru. I tell you, you need to just be guru overall because not only are you the football guru, you're the guru on passports, contracts, agents. I mean, you just should be the guru. Simple. Because you know everything about everything. It's amazing. It's amazing. I don't know why an entity around the world hasn't utilized you to help them. You know what I'm saying? His agent and family should wait. I tell my son to make that money. Coventry FC have a nice under 21 player that want to play for Jamaica. Okay, pristine. I will search that out. How we know that he actually got called? Remember they said J-Lo refused call, and he said every time he got called he will show up. So yeah, that J-Lo thing was debunked. I mean, there was one time when I think it was a Gold Cup, and he did ask for an extended vacation, so he declined, and ever since that they have been using that one time to say that he declined other call-ups subsequently when that wasn't the case. And even Simon, when he talked to him about it, mentioned how he was injured and how was it watching. He said, well, actually, I wasn't injured. So I don't know why you guys are saying I'm injured. You know what I'm saying? You are from the JD stables. He doesn't watch as many games as he claims. Don't be as blind as him, not knowing that people are watching more games than him and can see where he's faking it. Okay, look, you can take that up with him. I'm saying, whether I'm from his stable or not, before I met JD, I was watching football games, like long before, right? Now, I'm from his stables in the sense of YouTube. So people would not have known me on YouTube if it wasn't for JD's channel, because that's where I started to make comments in the comment section, and eventually he invited me to be on some programs as well. So yes, in terms of the viewership of these programs, I come from that stables, but I was watching football long before I even knew who JD was. And I've always been that way, to follow players and watch players ever since, bro. That's why when I found this niche of programming, I was like, wow, this is something that I can be a part of because I do this already. You know what I'm saying? So you should not do as he does to some, JD, that is, act as if no one else can watch the games too, right? So me personally, I am never going to fake it, ever. I've actually told you when I didn't watch players and I'm using stats to watch and I've only seen highlights or clips. I say that. I'm not trying to lie to anyone. What's the point of that? And you're right. There's no way everybody can watch us every game. There's no way. There's no way. You know what I'm saying? But you should stop saying football guru and add agency, contracts, everything. Just put guru by itself. You don't need the football on it. Because no matter what I talk about, you know everything about it. Yes, my teacher tell me a lot of time, everything online is free. You just have to know where to find it. That's a fact. That number 8 for Veer has the quality to play that box-to-box CM. Omari and Anthony Thomas. I think his name is Romarian Thomas, right? And doesn't he play striker for Veer? He plays striker for Veer. That's the one they call Conte, right? He doesn't play central midfield. Anyway, football guru. And next day, we continue this discussion, my boss. All respect to you, even though you disrespect me a few times today. No disrespect, bro. I understand. You have strong opinions like myself. You just refuse to start a program like myself, and that's fine. Zine, but don't insult me, brother. Don't say that I'm faking it and I'm just using stats and I'm just listening to JD. And I would hope that based on how I've presented myself on this platform so far, you would at least acknowledge that I do some research for these programs, okay? And I try to be well versed as possible when I'm talking about things, okay? Now, whether you disagree with me or not, that's one thing. But don't insult me and you know, put me in a boat where I'm just using sofa score and not watching games, okay? That's not the truth, boss. I take my time and I watch football. That's literally what I do most of the time. That's what I'm doing. As a matter of fact, when I turn this off, guess what I'm about to do? Watch some football. All right? So big up on yourself. Thanks to everybody who participated. This show really ran over time, but I hope that people get the word out that this was a nice show to watch. Again, this is Reasoning Time, episode 1. We're going to do more of these when I have time during the day. We just forward with some topics and we just hold our reasoning, like the barbershop, like the corner, but not quite. Quite have a little more structure than that. But big up on yourself, people. Thanks again for the support. I hope you guys smashed the like video while you were in here. And thanks again for all the support. I am Jason Gooner. This is Gooner TV. And this has been Reasoning Time with Jason Gooner. Big up on yourself, people. And thanks again for the support. Like the video.